Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast. Coming to you from an undisclosed location south of SideQuest Studios, this is the Simpsons Index, episode 70. Hello, my name is Elliot J. O'Neill. I'm your host.
Hello, Elliot J. O'Neill.
Hi, Elliot.
Hey, everybody. Let's meet our panel. We have BT Calloway.
Hello.
Danny Rosewell.
Hey there.
Claire Double R.
Hey.
And Jordan Frost.
Greetings, friend.
This is part 2 of our special 2-part podcast looking at 2-part episodes of The Simpsons. Not at all confusing to say. So we're going to be talking about episodes that are continuation on from episodes we talked about in episode 69. So if you're coming in fresh, I suggest you go listen to that podcast first. But anyway, starting out today's episode, we watched season 28, episode 13, The Great Phatsby, part 2.
I especially like how it's Phatsby with a PH.
It was first released in January of 2017. It was written by Dan Grenny and Matt Selman. In this episode, after Burns lost all of his money to JG in the last episode, he sets out and assembles a ragtag team to write a diss track to show Jay-Z he ain't all that and stuff. Oh, and Marge also buys a store. Guys, what did you think?
It stinks, it stinks, it stinks.
Yes, BT, everything stinks. No, this was truly awful.
It really was. And I feel like I failed the first one. What's lower than a failure? Like
Meltdown.
This has to be different. Like it has to be really bad. Was the last one a shiny failure?
It was participant, wasn't it?
A dull participant all around.
Dull participant. Okay. Well, let's try better this time.
It's got room to fall.
It's got so much room to fall. I did not realize.
I think this is why, we were going to rank as a duo because it almost you need to just...
You never know. You got to stick the landing.
The story as a whole just it gets worse.
Oh, yeah.
It does. BT, for better or worse, what joke stood out to you?
I'm going to look for a positive again because I got a lot of negatives here. Let's see. Got a lot of complaints here. Let me keep looking. I do like Smithers' story.
Yeah.
His little cut-tos.
Climbing out of the tauntaun?
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, well, did you guys like the Deus Ex Machina of Smithers coming back at the end? I guess it wasn't a Deus Ex because they'd been leading up to it.
It was pretty inevitable.
The thing that annoyed me most about that was the fact that they came I wish Smithers was here. I wonder where that Smithers is.
Yeah.
And kept they could have found a better way to just cut back to Smithers, surely.
No, what bugged me about it, if they'd just gone, where is my Smithers? Fine. Where is Smithers with my ice that I don't need anymore?
Yeah.
I didn't need in the first place. Just shut up about the fucking ice.
Yeah.
Shut up about it.
Yeah, because they didn't continue on the same theme of the party and the soirees from the last episode, the ice does lose more meaning, even though it comes back at the end to save them. I thought it was a resolution. I'm not that satisfied with it, though.
They could have played it where did Smithers go in the first place? I quickly forget why he sent him and say, Smithers, why have you brought this slush into my house? Get rid of it. At least that would have made it a joke. He's gone through all this tragedy for nothing. And I think they tried to do that with that, I asked for ice, not slush.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
why was he still asking for ice anyway?
Yeah. Oddly, a bit of Simpsons amnesia would have helped then.
Yeah. Although I did think that the Smithers little interludes were probably the only part that I kind of liked.
Well, the axe fight was kind of funny
Yeah.
and the beard thing.
And the climbing out of the dead horse and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Doing that old routine. The old sleeping in the tauntaun. Is there something that predates Star Wars? Is Star Wars referencing something with that?
Star Wars was the birth of entertainment as we know it.
Oh, fair enough.
The exploding of the Death Star was the big bang that started all creativity.
I was about to say, as far as you know, the universe was invented the day Star Wars came out and just popped into existence as we know it.
With an open, empty galaxy and a big title crawl.
Yeah, but the original did happen a long time ago. So, the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Danny, for better or worse, what's the joke that stood out to you?
That just says so much, doesn't it?
Oh, man.
So define joke, Elliot.
For better or worse?
Okay. Why were there cobblers? Was that a joke? Or is that...
It was essentially a pointless bit, and just for Homer to go on about his cobblers.
Yeah, do the old, I had 5 and then it started tasting like crap, so then I had 3 more and it tasted like crap, but then I had a bit of ice cream and then I had 3 more and then it tasted like crap.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't at all stick the landing, and, you can cobbler a pineapple?
Yeah.
Lame. Clare, for better or worse, a joke.
One that really stood out to me as very irritating was when he, betrays Mr. Burns, goes and works at the new power plant, which doesn't seem to be functioning as a power plant anymore. It's just a disco rave party. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, I know you're loyal, but I'm going to put you to one last test. Remove all trace of Mr. Burns from this. And then you had a very pointless scene where a bunch of random shit gets shoved into one of the trapdoors. There was the teddy bear. Bobo, thank you. And the bear, lots of bear.
The polar bear statue, soft bear.
Employee, the mum frames and stuff.
Skulls.
What was the point of this? He'd already taken over. He already knew Homer was loyal. This is just waste of space.
It was such a waste of space. It wasn't funny. There was no actual joke to it. Even throwing out Bobo, it's more like, oh, that's the thing that Mr. Burns had.
Yep.
I recognize that.
Exactly.
Drawing.
I
that
recognize
famous
that.
bear from his office. Oh, it's stuck now.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I hated everything about it.
Jordan, for better or worse, a joke?
One that I don't even know if it counts as a joke, but I kind of like the idea that, Bart kind of comes into the tomb. Homer goes, oh, he's great with schemes. I don't want to. I've got more money than you. And Burns reaches into his family crypt and goes, would the gloves and cape of the Gaslight Strangler change your mind? Which implies that Monty Burns's family
Ancestors,
somewhere was like this infamous murderer.
Oh, okay.
That maybe never got solved, but anyway, it's maybe one of the better jokes in this episode.
Well, I like that Bart was also very easily swayed by this because he knows his evil history.
But I did like the list of pranks or ways to get back. I can't remember what the first one was, but the second one was sandwich made of acid, and then the third one was make him spend all his money on a credit card company that we jointly own.
So the same plan.
The exact same plan. Yeah.
Wow, those were background jokes?
That was just background stuff, yeah.
Damn. Well, what they must leave in the forefront must be pure gold.
just like the recording studio that they're recording at is called Gold Records on Walls Recording Studio.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, the joke that stood out to me, look, and it's kind of a story point, but it's Homer's relationship with this goose that keeps biting him. None of it was funny to me. And even at the end when Bart tries to make him feel better by biting him, and Homer's like...
That was like a really terrible attempt at heart.
Yeah. It was never funny. And they keep hitting on this point. All right, so a story moment, for better or worse, that stood out to you. And I'm going to say it's a lack of a story point that stood out to me. Yeah, Lisa's story was over from the last episode.
Yeah. Good.
She didn't have an arc there. She just ended up being a piece of shit in the last episode.
We didn't find out what happened to the rich old dude sounding kid.
Yep, that's just gone now.
Good.
Fine. I'm fine with that.
That wouldn't have
I'm fine
improved
with
the
it,
episode.
but it didn't need to be in the first one either.
Nope.
If you're making a two-parter that you are marketing as a movie, hour-length thing, right?
TV movie, yeah.
You have to have some continuity. And I felt like they did everything they could to almost make this two separate episodes, but neither of them could stand alone on their own.
Exactly.
At least have a scene, where the horse just kicks her or something, or just throws her face first into the mud.
Yeah, because
something awful.
Sometimes it's fun to rewrite, but like I said in the last episode, you just got to break it all down and start again.
Yeah, it's total doomsday process for this one. It wouldn't even last the first explosion. BT, what's a story moment that stood out to you?
Not really a specific story. It's just kind of the overall vibe of the entire thing. Because once we get to the whole, I think I'm going to plan to get revenge with some diss track. But it seems like, either make this a parody or an homage to hip-hop. But it was neither. It was not even in between. It was just switch between both gears incredibly rapidly. And it was like, I don't know what you're trying to accomplish here, but you're not doing anything.
No.
Yeah, at some points it's played for laughs. At some points it's played for, no, these people are really cool. It's like, which do you want here? I don't...
Well, it was just about as changeable as the motivations for basically every black character in this entire 2-episode thing, where they kept going the whole betrayal and then the betrayal and the betrayal. They couldn't decide whether they were the good guys in this or the bad guys.
And what are they saying when everyone sort of sells out for JG?
Yeah, and that they were only motivated by money, and there's no
every black character sells out their ideals for money. Every black character.
Yeah, I mean, because Homer doesn't sell out for money. He sells out because he keeps his job, but that's it.
Family security, though.
Yeah. But like every other all the black characters, they just sell for money. It's nothing about like the revenge and the hatred they feel for JG. As soon as he offers them money again, it's like, everything's forgiven.
And it's like Homer just goes back to working for Burns for no reason. It's like, why? This guy doesn't like you. You don't like him. In an episode where you thought he was dead, you, Lenny, and Carl were going to go dance on his grave.
Yeah.
You know?
He can't remember your name.
Exactly.
He did remember his... has it been canon ever since then that he remembers his name now or something?
It essentially got ditched.
Okay.
Who Shot Mr. Burns was like the last moment of Mr. Burns not remembering Homer's name.
Gotcha.
And yeah, just sort of jumping on that before we move on, it just sort of seemed like they grabbed whatever rappers were available at the time, you know?
Yeah.
Pretty
Like,
unconnected bunch, weren't they?
yeah, RZA, Snoop Dogg, and Common.
Yeah.
And the character of Praiseland, which was like a play of Cookie from Empire and played by Taraji B. Henson.
Oh, right.
That was awful. I was probably going to use that as my... Oh, sorry. Were you going to say, Dan, what was the story moment that stood out? That was the one I was going
Thanks, Elliot.
jump
Yep.
on.
Yep.
Because, wow, they walked in and they were like doing the head thing and being like, oh, no, they didn't. I know they did. Oh, no, they didn't.
Yep, didn't pronounce D-I apostrophe and apostrophe T.
Where the fuck did they come from?
Where did they come from?
Why
did
did
they
they
come from?
Yeah.
Why did they come in and...
They came in just to throw deli meats at Mr. Burns and then say, I'm joining you.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
It's
One of my
terrible.
notes
They
is
were
just
there.
why ham.
Yeah, exactly.
I just look at this episode and it makes it really hard to be on the Simpsons writers' side. All I have here is like, does the Simpsons writers hate black people? Black women? Women in general?
Do you burn a Luigi board? How do I use a Luigi board? Do they hate
Exactly.
black people? Are they against black people?
How
What's
go
wrong with
get
black people?
pregnante?
What do they think is a black people?
But that's it. There was so little good about this. Like, they just kept doubling down on the really shitty stereotypes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
really cheap, like,
It really feels
look
like...
how black these people are. I don't get it. You know, rap culture. What?
Yeah, and they called the band, what was it? The Hate Squad Rhyme Crime All-Stars?
Oh, yeah.
Rhyme Crime.
Oh, and then that throwaway joke, which I think in another context could have been funny. But here it seemed too legitimately like, yeah, this is actually what we think. We need an expert on rap. Let's go to a young white male.
Oh, yeah. The
Oh.
ultimate expert on rap are young white nerds.
Yeah.
I actually kind of liked that too.
I'm with you on that one because I like the.
It's so racist, man.
No.
I took it as being like a white kid who's going to try and prove that he really loves rap by just learning all of it.
I know what
a
they're
history
saying.
book.
I know what they're saying. But they're still saying that the real experts on rap culture are the white guys.
And they're saying it in an episode where, as I assume, white writers
Probably.
probably, like, let's just guess here.
At this point, I
mean,
think they've turned into a kind of creamy beige.
Like, they've brought
But
on
the-
actual black celebrities as cameos to have them betray and become bad guys.
and basically shat all over every single aspect of rap culture, like demeaned it, broke it down into a joke, and then in that context made that joke. If it was in a different context, I would have been fully after this, because then it would have seemed like a joke, one of those self-depreciating, like,
Yeah.
oh, look at us, we think we're so smart because we read about
yeah,
it.
but everything else around it.
They said it
So
and they meant
white.
it. They said it and they meant it.
Exactly.
White guys know rap. Let's go to the white guys. They had Snoop Dogg in this episode.
Yeah.
And they didn't go to him. They asked
Yeah.
Milhouse what the real truth about rap is.
Oh, only to find the thing about Jazzy James, and they go back to him for one scene and then does the betrayal like the next scene later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There could have been a lot more forethought and a lot more planning with the Jazzy James. Like,
Yeah.
he should have loomed over the 2-part episode a bit more.
Yeah, because they very lazily did it with the,
Yeah.
I guess he comes back somehow, I don't know. But
Well, I don't know. He owns a portable candle stand. He could keep ominously showing up at like Mr. Burns' things
Yeah.
and go, "Watch yourself with that JG." Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Candles at all the parties, and they're like, I didn't order candles.
Yeah.
No, that'd do, actually. Also, side note, this isn't about the episode particularly, but I really don't like episodes where they have real people cameos as themselves and then knockoff cameos of celebrities like JG and Jazzy James instead of Jazzy
Yeah.
Jeff. In a world where Snoop Dogg is a real thing,
Yeah.
and you know, it's
Yeah,
We-
mixing the power ports and the original product.
Yeah.
Like, are we supposed to pretend that if Snoop's there and RZA's there and
I think that would have been
Jazzy
okay
Jeff is
if
in
they
there somewhere else?
if they just kept the one sort of bad guy where they tried to redeem him at the end. I was just following your orders.
Oof.
Oh,
But it had the one
cringe.
Yeah, don't think about that, but yeah.
But if that would been the only one, that would have been fine. But then they just kept, mixing them.
Yeah.
What about the Magic Show episode also brought on 5 cameos for like 30 seconds, then they turned bad guys for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, the great Simp Cena.
Is this a trope? Is there a reason to do this? Is that all they could afford?
They
of
see
them,
who's
or?
available that week and they lazily write them into the episode and give them a mini
Fuck
arc.
you guys.
Indeed.
The writers, not the celebrities.
Claire, for better or worse, what's a story moment that stood out to you?
I suppose it wasn't a story moment, but right at the beginning, the turning of the hounds.
Oh,
yeah.
Release the hounds.
Yeah.
Sign this waiver to release the hounds, otherwise he'll release it.
And it just dragged.
Look, that one little soundbite was quite good if they just left it as sign this waiver to release the hounds or Judge
It was
release
such
the
a
hounds.
long road to get there.
Exactly. And then they had that really weird scene where the car's driving off all the hounds and the lawyer is like hanging out the window with his tongue out. And I was like, ugh.
Jordan, what's a story moment that stood out to you, for better or worse?
We have been introduced to JG as this guy who's got a finger in many pies. Like, he's got his own credit card company, obviously. He's got recording studios. He's got a bunch of other stuff. He releases products, everything. So why, once he takes over, like, he gains all the burns, he will just set up office at the power plant? Like, surely he's got 1,000,001 other things to do, better places to be. Why just stay there?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? I know they have to do it for the story, but there's just no motivation for him to be there. Just be like, all right, fine, just make it work.
Well, it also implies that Homer, at least, is doing several trips between Springfield and the Hamptons as well, which sort of screws up the...
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, Elliot.
Yeah.
The Springfield
This
Hamptons.
episode's so
Yeah.
Not the
bad.
Hamptons.
And it also undercuts, like, as they're boating away from the Hamptons and they got that sunset, and it's like, oh, we really had fun here. And it's like, no, a couple of you have been going back and forth.
Yeah.
And last story thing I want to mention before we move on is Marge's shop.
Oh, yeah. Who cares? Like, that was such a shitty, pointless thing, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway.
This was sexist?
I'm not even going to say that. I'm just going to say this is someone who has a weird vendetta just against kitsch stores.
Yeah.
Like, it comes up way too often as way too venomous to not have someone have a personal grudge.
An ex-wife that
Yeah.
has bought a kitsch
Yeah.
store is like, oh, well, I'm going to shit on your crumpets.
Yeah.
Well,
And that
I
is
reckon
terrible.
these writers, these rich white writers, do live in the upper class neighborhood that gets slowly getting filled up with kitsch stores when they miss their Woolworths and their fucking bottle shops and shit.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Poor rich people.
One more rich kitschy shop. I think it is probably against the shops mostly, but saying you can't leave a woman in a shopping district or she'll buy a house, buy a shop and fill it with kitschy
that feels
shit.
vindictive.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was just, you just have one now. If you spend enough time there, you just get one.
Yeah, and none of the material was saved by any of the jokes in it. It was just like Marge going crazy.
I was really disappointed in the way that it looked like she was happy and excited for the first time.
Yeah,
she
you're
was
like-
running around so fucking excited about her wallpaper and her kitschy shit.
And straight
And
away, everyone went,
Everyone's
oh,
like,
Mom's
oh, she's
crazy.
She's
Yeah.
fucking insane. Happiness. I don't like that. I don't like that.
No, it's kind of nice that, okay, this is a dumb plot line, but at least Marge looks like she's having fun and has a project to do. And then even at the end, he's like, oh, we can't afford the store anymore. Oh, thank God. It's like, it's weird.
like
Did she have a single customer? I think wasn't that the joke? They're like, oh, customers, and then it's just Homer and Burns and stuff.
Three people used the bathroom today.
And they could have pitched it a little bit more. Like if she walks into a store and goes, oh, this is cute. And the owner said like, I hate this place. Oh, you run it now. And it's like,
Or like one of those, do you want to buy it? It's on sale. And she goes, oh, I'd love that. Excellent. It's yours now.
and then
But it was just all of a sudden,
And-
I have a store now, Homer, by the way.
by the way, I love this. Oh, by the way, I hate this. Bye.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
At the very end, there was a kind of Twilight Zonian thing where the guy who hangs a sign is like, there'll be more who will come here and fall into the trap.
That's what I really wanted, was like some kind of like supernatural force
Yeah.
or something. Just
or
to
just
like,
the suggestion.
Yeah.
There's just this allure that
what
people
could have
fall
happened
into.
after she buys the shop and fills it with kitsch? she's like eyeing out the competition, and she starts noticing that all the other shopkeepers are unhappy or stressed or like fearfully trying to escape their shops.
And selling all the same stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There's like a real dark undertone to it, and the sign writer's just always ominously laughing.
We get a little Get Out.
She keeps going into the shop and being like, "Hey, ooh, this is nice." And they're like, "You want to buy the shop?" And she's like, "No, I've already bought a shop here. Buy the shop anyway. You can have two. You can have two."
You'll have a monopoly. And
Yeah.
and everyone's just quietly trying to get
So
it.
like
And-
eerie music playing in the background.
Yeah, and then at the end, the new person comes in and she's like, it's for sale if you want, and there's a freedom.
I feel the whole plot line didn't go anywhere. There was no real actual jokes in it either.
No, it was just pointing out things that you find at kitsch stores. Oh, old speakers that have been turned into handbags.
Erasers that look like states.
Oh man,
Pin
I've
cushions.
seen those in kid shops before.
And also Lisa had like no real rock solid motivation in this either.
Yeah.
Like usually she'd be the one that'd be initially excited with her, and then she'd be skeptical, and then she'd be like, "Mum, this isn't going to work," and trying to talk her down or something.
Balancing supportive with logical.
And that's the thing. It made me miss the interaction where Lisa is always encouraging Marge to step out of her comfort zone. Like, good on you, Mom. Like, do something different.
Yeah.
You can buy a store. You could own a store.
Totally.
Like, that would have been really cute.
It makes it such a shame because you could have totally doomsdayed the Lisa story from the last episode and set this up in the last episode.
Yep, much better carry through.
Yeah, because the Marge store thing actually has way more potential than the Lisa boyfriend thing did.
For real.
So play count. Last time we said we hadn't seen part 1, so by chance, have you guys seen part 2 before?
50 times.
No.
But ultimately, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
No.
Yeah, I mean, Homer was just off.
Nope.
I don't know why he was bothering with Mr. Burns instead of celebrating his downfall.
Yeah, true. Why did he feel any sense of guilt or...
Marge was just crazy. Mr. Burns was just a schmuck.
Yeah, like you said, he had no power, like he had no spine in this. And the other thing of feeling like a Simpsons episode, when Simpsons do these parody sort of things, they really do their work into doing a good parody. So they're trying to do like a takeoff of Empire, they've got Taraji doing her Cookie character, but as Praiseland instead. But it's almost like they didn't even watch Empire. They had their assistant read them a
What?
synopsis.
Looking at the source material in an HD episode? That's crazy. It's like they didn't watch The Great Gatsby either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. This is meant to be a fucking Gatsby parody, apparently.
And no one ends up dead in a pool.
Yeah, so we can all agree the integrity's just way fucking off. Any wacky moments that stood out to you? Cartoony moments?
Bart picks up Mr. Burns and runs away with him when Marge starts approaching.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah.
A goose eats a USB flash drive and does not choke to death.
It was a hologram goose.
That's 100%
He
realistic.
ate
True.
it without swallowing.
Oh, the fucking hologram joke.
Also, there were like holograms on stage. There were like
Yep.
the two of them, conceivably, maybe, and then like 5 others appeared to the side of the
Yep.
stage. How is that stage set up with like 18 hologram projectors?
Amazing. Yeah.
Also, that was Burns's like opening ceremony.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't have been set up with his
No.
hologram project. Whatever.
Maybe
Whatever.
JG paid some money to set it up. Oh, wacky moments. Snoop Dogg in the recording studio with a bunch of weed, and then you see Homer.
No, accurate.
Yeah, oh, no, that bit. But then I just thought it was like the wacky, like Homer, like sneaking in, going, and then like.
Yeah, New Simpsons does this funny thing with Homer where he's really into weed. Like, it's not wrong, but it is just a bit off because we sort of grew up with them when
It doesn't
marijuana
have the
was
right
illegal.
timbre.
It's too casual, yeah. Like
Yeah.
if it's there, it's a part of the episode. It's not an aside.
Yeah, another wacky moment that stood out to me was the remodeling of the nuclear power plant, doing like the Dolce & Gabbana cooling towers, and some guy just on a DJ deck with plutonium, like...
Gotta
Yeah.
be a DJ. And
just, like-
everyone's replaced with like,
bikini models.
bikini babes.
I could have handled like a little bit of it, like I like the velvet rope where Homer's just trying to go to work and the guy's like, looking through the list.
Yeah.
And the idea they redesigned the towers, I just wasn't expecting it. So when I first saw it, I go, huh.
Yeah.
But it just had a little too much.
I wouldn't have minded having like the dancing if they were like in full suits. Just like dancing on like a pole, but in the full thing.
Yes.
Or have Lenny and Carl there in their little bikinis.
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
this is how we have to dress now.
or hazmat suits with like bikini sections cut out and stuff. You know?
Like bikinis over the top of them. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
All right, so how about the heart of this episode? Yeah, we already
Move
said...
on.
Rip it out and stomp on it.
But, I mean, genuinely, what about the moment with the goose at the end? Did you think it was really dead?
No,
No.
never. Not at one point did I think
Yeah.
that was the real goose.
I do have a big note here where Mr. Burns is like, ooh, I have a plan. It's like, oh, could it maybe be the goose that's been in the entire episode the entire time and building up to this really obvious thing? Could that be it?
No, he was holding a little stitched sewed
I know, I didn't-
goose just to solidify that point.
Oh, that was a red herring?
No, it was a white goose.
Hooray. Hooray. I feel like, to me, the heart of the episode was Marge being so happy and excited about a shop and everyone saying she's crazy for it. She's just gone insane.
That is not normal.
It's heartbreaking. And that's something that I would have enjoyed the episode to be about.
Yeah. So, yes or no, would you watch
Nope.
this episode again?
No.
We've been over a lot about what you changed, but does anyone want to jump in with any final thoughts about what they'd change?
That's not an ending.
Yeah, like it didn't reset at all. Like, is he going to give him back his money?
Like, the implication is that he gives them the plant back and maybe his stuff, but it feels why? Like, I realize they understand why whatever his face is betrayed Mr. Burns, but then he's not like, so that means you give me all your stuff back, right? It's like, no, you told him to betray you. He did. Now you know why. It doesn't change anything. You just know why now.
I learned it from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, oh, I wonder if Mr. Burns will change now that he's had his moment of hip-hop. Oh, today we're going to have a dance party. The end.
Let's not do this tomorrow.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What?
Did you say it was Keegan-Michael Key? Was
Keegan-Michael
James?
Key was Jazzy James. Let me just
Okay.
skip ahead to the guest stars. So, yeah,
Okay.
aforementioned, we had RZA, Common, and Snoop Dogg playing themselves. Taraji B. Henson as Praiseland, a.k.a. Cookie. Phil Lamar and Dawn Lewis did some incidental voices. And also, the end credits was a remix of the Simpsons theme done by this guy called Jim Beans. I've never heard of him, but this was shit.
A remix
Really
is
bad.
not turning the volume up and down.
Yeah.
Like on Bud on the Road, where he's like, and
Yeah.
he's like mixing Golden Earring, Red I Love. Yeah.
That's exactly what it sounded like. It
Yeah.
sounded like the Millhouse fiddles with the speaker version of the
Yeah.
Simpsons.
You know what would be
end
funnier?
credits scene.
Keep the same mix, but just have Millhouse's sounds as
Yeah.
though he's remixing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because, I mean, he did talk about his love
Yeah,
of...
exactly.
yeah.
Oh, and then, he comes up to Common and goes, "Oh, Common, that was mad tight." And Common's like, "Yeah, respect, house."
Yeah, and it's like, again, it's not an homage and it's not a joke. It's neither.
And also, Millhouse wasn't in this scene. He
Yeah.
just
No.
appeared into the studio in that one moment
Yeah.
and then was not there before or after. It was pointless.
I'll give them, like, maybe Bart was like, oh, Millhouse would love this. Let's invite him.
But when
Maybe.
he's not sitting in the studio and he just appears in the recording booth, it just...
You need to introduce him in the scene before
Yeah,
you need to.
The only reason I asked about Keegan-Michael Key was I liked his delivery of, he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it work. And then I've got an idea, and they hang him upside down. He's like, oh, yeah, this is great. Why does this work? Like, yeah.
Why does this work?
It's a weird thing where I didn't like the setup, but I liked the callback.
Yeah, me too.
A weird thing. Just about to wrap this up. Pun not intended. I'm so sorry.
I didn't want to point it out, but yeah.
BT, any other notes?
Yeah, my main one was really, why is it a rap diss track that's going to destroy him? Like,
Yeah.
it's going to ruin his rep. It's like, hey, he'll still be a millionaire.
You know what
Yeah.
it felt like to me? We have to save the YMCA guys. You
Yeah,
know?
pretty much. But then,
We're going to do it with a rocking roll song.
but then I want to see it brought back to partying again. So Mr. Burns is like, how do we ruin him? I know, we'll throw the biggest party ever. But then secretly they planned some way to, like, kind of Ocean's 11, his cash, make
Yeah.
whatever the freaking guy's name is, Jazzy G, whatever.
G-Jazz.
G-Jazz throw his own party that makes him bankrupt because he makes it so big
Yeah.
and then no one shows up. And
Yeah.
they're also like, we learned this from like World War II where they made inflatable tanks and the Nazis would bomb those instead of the real tanks.
Oh,
So they have like a fake party and everyone goes to that.
Yeah.
And that's what bankrupts him.
Well, that would have tied in the whole party
Yep.
thing and would have, again, the Great Gatsby reference, which was so sorely missing from this episode.
And it would have actually like closed off that entire plot line where this is how Mr. Burns kind of maybe gets his money back or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we won't let people know that you threw a party for no one if you give me some, like, my power plant back or something.
Yeah.
Story
something
must
like
be a
that.
circle.
And that'll be rap. And that'll tie into your Gatsby theme because the whole Baz Luhrmann added rap into the Gatsby movie. His point he was making is that was an era of just over excess. And so it was like this rap era. Tying that theme together, that's tying both halves of the episode together. It's a better ending. Boom.
Yeah.
Jordan?
When they said, oh, he used to be in this group, I thought they were going to go back and find some like really embarrassing point of his career and like, you know, launching my new
Classic bit.
record and then
Yeah.
like playing
Yeah.
that instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like that would have been a good opportunity for them to sort of have Jay-Z be taken down by his excess and spending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, get the IRS to audit them, surprise audit or something. It needs to be tied into the party and tied into sort of like Burns' old-timiness. The party thing is sort of how it all started, but the excess is what brought Burns down, so it needs to also be in what brings down Jay-Z, I feel.
All right, potentially JG buys the nuclear power plant and he runs it in this excess fashion, but finds out that it only made money because Burns is so tight.
Yeah.
And
it becomes a money pit. Yeah.
yeah. Claire, any other notes?
I'm done with this episode.
Jordan, any other notes?
There was one little quote I liked, which was when they're hanging by the chandelier and like Burns goes, well, at least we'll die of natural causes. A business deal gone wrong.
I like the natural causes line. I didn't need that extra bite. I thought it's like they're hanging from a breaking chandelier and they're like, natural causes.
Yeah, that's it. It would have been a fine button there.
And then the at the very start, how they have to say, if Scott Fitzgerald said there was no 2 acts in life, but that didn't say anything about an American TV show. And so here we go.
Again, Homer's narration undercutting the importance of his own story.
Yeah.
Like,
So, is there a way we could have had this Simpsons episode not be offensive to black people?
Hire a consultant who knows about black culture, possibly a black person, him or herself, and say, does this offend you? And if they say yes, change it.
Hire
yes,
a white
yes.
nerd. That is the ultimate source of knowledge on all black culture.
You have to have people of color being like representative as like a protagonist, I think.
Yeah.
In this, they're just auxiliary to the plot of Burns and Homer.
Or the villain.
What I mean is that they just need to be written like people
Yeah.
to suit the story, interspersed like any other character. They don't have to always be playing a rapper or a criminal or
Criminal rapper.
It really, really bugged me. Or the bitchy ex-housewife that's just spewing
Violently beating up strangers she's just met.
yeah, her arc is
ham all
throwing
over the
deli
place.
meat, saying, yeah, I'll join you, and then selling out. You didn't have to have her and the other rappers sell out either.
No.
You could have just had him get a copy of the thing and say,
the master.
you're on the same record label and I own that, so therefore,
They just need to be written like normal people
yeah.
and stop trying to put them into The Simpsons to, make The Simpsons feel more pro-color,
Yeah.
but use them in such a way that it actually makes it much worse.
Yeah, couldn't they just be people that don't have... What's the word? That's what I like about like Lenny and Carl or Lou and Eddie and Lou, is that you wouldn't know. They just are.
Yeah. It's just, such a damn shame, especially when maybe from their angle, like devil's advocate, the writers are like, okay, we need to diversify, we need to sort of represent more people on our show, but they just have such a surface level understanding. And like, I'm not pretending that I do. I've got a very surface level, but I'm not writing a fucking parody show about it. Like,
And I feel like you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. I feel like they went, you know what's popular with the kids these days?
Yeah.
Rap. You know who raps? Black people.
If
Let's
they were
do
trying
that
to
about
be
that.
inclusive, why are they parodying them?
yeah.
Let's make a parody of black people. That's not inclusive.
Yeah, and that's why occasionally it feels like it's swinging back to being an homage, but then so poorly done. It's just Milhouse going, that was tight, yo. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, and it's not hitting on the parody of Empire, the show, enough for it to feel like they're doing sort of another show.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't think any of us here have the correct words to describe exactly how this can be fixed and what was wrong with it in the first place.
Yeah,
But it's wrong when you watch it. Something's really off about this.
definitely. All right, guys, it's time for my final quick fire notes. And there's not many of them.
Pew, pew, pew.
Homer goes,
Yes.
while I was looking for an open grave to bath in.
Yep.
Gross.
Yeah, I'm mixed on that. I liked grief soup.
Yeah.
The Burns made out of flowers from all dead
Yeah,
relatives.
I'm on board with that.
Wasn't bad. I felt like Bart was really shoehorned into this episode,
Yeah,
for sure.
especially since all
Yeah.
he was done. All right, we'll let you in onto our plan if you help us. You know what you need? This guy. He didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
And also with Bart in this episode, Homer going, your family life must be a disaster.
Yeah, it was dumb as
Just
fuck.
holding the mirror up. Why did I write down baseball tattoo?
Because he got a tattoo from the movie
Major League,
Major League.
the baseball.
Part of Jazzy Jeff's contract when he was hanging out the window is he also has to get a shitty tattoo of the baseball with a mohawk from Major League.
Yep.
Funny
we all
stuff.
remember that movie, right?
Funny stuff right there.
It makes so much sense to be in this scene.
Really fresh.
It's an immortal movie. Kids still watch it today.
I did like Marge's line, Lisa goes, "Oh, Mum, that was an F. Scott Fitzgerald reference." And she goes, "Yeah, Lisa, I graduated high school."
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah. And my last note is I did kind of like Mr. Burns and JG doing the handshake at the end. Mr. Burns is just sort of going along with it. Ow, that hurts. Oh, that one was okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's it? Oh, fascinating.
Fascinating.
It is time to rank this thing! On the Simpsons Index, we rank using our 6-point scale, which starts down the bottom at failure. But maybe if the episode was meh, you give it a participant, but if it was good, bronze, great, silver, excellent, gold, but for the best of the very best, the ones that you love and are in your heart always, you give those episodes a cubic zirconia. I'm gonna go first, let me show you how it's done. This is a fucking failure. I know we said we'd toyed last time with maybe like retroactively changing our ranks for the last one, but I still feel like this doesn't change the other one being a participant because that was like the lead-up episode. And this one, to work as a payoff, fails extremely because it leaves so many open story threads and it doesn't close its own ones within the confines of this episode. So yeah, it functions poorly. Danny, what's your rank, buddy?
Ready to give it the index finger. Yeah, I'm failing this. I'm not quite angry, upset like the Lady Gaga episode, but I'm sort of baffled at how they could do everything so wrong. Like, who thought this was a good idea, and how did this get past editors and drafts and writers, directors, and teams of people?
Just jumping on that, not only is it a poor story it's in its own right, but this was an event episode for them.
Yeah.
They did promotion. This is the first Simpsons 1-hour special. We're airing it in a 1-hour block. We have all these guest stars, and it is going to be tight.
They were so excited about this episode, and like there was a lot of beauty in it. A lot of the shots were really pretty. The scenery was lovely. All the old timey outfits and stuff. Some of the rave party stuff was really pretty. To the chandeliers and things. All the Canada stuff,
and all the Hamptons, like beautiful skylines and all that.
Yeah, but you can't make a cake all icing. You know?
Yeah.
There's no substance here that makes any sense at all, and it's very upsetting because my urge to fix is just going haywire. I haven't got enough time. It's like watching my patient die on the slab. There's not enough time to do this. Oh, God, help me.
Just pull the plug, man.
Damn it, you never give up. You reach into his open chest and start squeezing his heart till it beats until he's back alive, man.
Failure.
Sorry, that's just the doctor in me, not the critic.
I was wondering who that guy was.
Jordan, what is your ranking?
I have to give it a failure too. Like, just the fact that they tried to go for a couple of different parodies and just nailed none of them at all. Like, they didn't go far enough into any of them. Look, I mean, to be fair, I haven't watched Empire, so I guess that's why the lady was slinging deli meat. Maybe that's a parody to something in the show. But the thing is, like, if I hadn't watched Empire or Gatsby, it wouldn't matter because none of them really kind of play into the story really at all. So what's the point? So in the end, it was just frustrating. It's just really angry to kind of go like, why? Why are you doing that? Just why? Just why? Yeah. Anyway, so failure.
Claire?
Failure.
Why?
I think we all know why.
My God, her eyes went red. BT, round us off.
Yeah, I've spoken my piece. I've got nothing else to say but failure.
I was actually writing the F in my notes just already. All right, so with all of us failing it, and as coined by Nick of Pods in the Key of Springfield, we are giving this episode the index finger. Yay! This will be a unanimous failure. This will be joining such episodes as Future Drummer, The Italian Bob, Little Big Girl, where Lisa appropriates Native American history.
That's a good playlist, actually. I know you don't ask the playlist question, but this would be good with that one, like The Simpsons racially vilifying people.
Oh, God.
Oh, yes. Yes. Not to watch, but as like an indictment against them.
It's like a study for like those university classes that watch The Simpsons.
What not to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Also be joining episodes like The Blue and the Grey, where Marge gets grey hair, Mo goes from rags to riches, Lisa goes gaga, Love is in the N2O2 ARCO2 NEHECH4, Old Blue Man, she ain't what you used to be. Yeah, this is just such a big pit of awful. All right, guys, now we're going to continue on with our two-part episode and do, well, what I consider to be the second part of the Maud Dies episode is Season 12's I'm Going to Praiseland. We'll be back.
After this cartoon.
After this message from our sponsor, drugs.
Hi there, I'm a boring person.
Well, you know what you need.
Hi, I'm
drugs.
Whoa. You're sparkly and magical.
Put me in your mouth.
Well, I don't see any reason why not. It's a lovely day. And we are back, and we just watched our teens episode for the evening, which was Season 12, Episode 19, I'm Going to Praiseland. And for the purposes of this two-part podcast, I'm calling this the second part of Alone Again, Natra Diddley, the episode where Maud dies. That's not how they intended it, but that's how I'm doing it. Fuck you. This was first released in May of '01. It was written by Julie Thacker. In this episode, Flanders is still dealing with the grief from his wife Maud dying. So yeah, after freaking out a date, Ned gets the Simpsons to help him sort through Maud's stuff and help him move on a bit. And in the sorting, he discovers one of Maud's old sketchbooks, which has details for a Christian amusement park. And so he sets out building it, but does he succeed? No. Guys, what did you think?
I just love how in love Ned was with Maud.
Mm.
I mean, you see it that they have a really happy and healthy relationship in other episodes, but he really did love her.
Yeah, I felt this episode did a much better job of tributing Maud than the other episode did,
Yeah,
the one where she actually died. I felt like this was a way more cohesive story and plot that I think was paced beautifully.
Yeah, that is actually one of my notes, is it is really well kind of plotted out and paced, and everything logically leads into the next part. So.
And it just gives a little bit more seriousness to Ned's story of missing her. Because in the first one, it seemed like he was really indifferent. You know, the whole town was indifferent. The Simpsons were indifferent. And so...
Yeah, it was more about Ned than it was about Maud.
Yeah, because Maud, nobody else seemed to care about her.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like really that much of an issue for Ned either. Like,
Yeah, they were like, she was a second character, and now she's dead. You know,
look, and
Yeah,
he's
what a
moving on.
shitty
He's speed
funeral
dating
speech.
already. Yeah. But now the weight and the gravitas is there. So it's much nicer.
Yep.
While I'm sure she was important to Flanders, Maud was the B character to us all.
Yeah, I thought this episode was a great tribute to Maud, and as well, it succeeded at being heavy when it needed to, but yet still being a really good comedy show. So just jumping on that, for better or worse, what were some of the jokes that stood out to you? Starting with you, Denny.
Oh, hello, everybody. A big part for me was the haircut scene.
Oh yeah, Ned kind of went a little crazy.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
We all go crazy sometimes, Elliot.
And this is bringing Rachel Jordan back, who was introduced in the Maud Dies episode at the end. She was fronting Covenant, and now she's just a solo artist.
Covenant.
It was really fun to watch her character try not to be openly freaked out in front of him.
Yeah.
I don't love it. I don't hate it. You know. Oh, look. It's got your dead wife's name on it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, an indentation of your dead wife.
Just to walk past more and more photos of Maud, bigger and bigger ones. And
Oh, poor
well, you
woman.
seem to have a bit of a theme here.
Yeah.
And the fact that she slept over despite all these warning signs, you know. I mean, she's a very brave lady. Not making
Not
the
the
smartest
brightest,
decisions, for herself, but very brave.
Oh, Christian, they're a trusting bunch, but, you know, you got to draw the line when you wake up with a different haircut that is similar to your date's
It is
ex-wife.
The
Yeah.
same.
On
as
your
you.
first date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like, and this was surprising to me, that the teens have this tendency for wackiness that doesn't always work with a plot.
Yep.
But I felt like the running theme of Homer just being there, watching
yeah.
it, you know, like the audience is watching. He's just hanging outside the window,
Just
you
hanging
know.
from the gutters.
Yeah.
That he's been
Yeah.
watching Ned like cut this woman's hair, being like, too soon for him to date.
Yeah. And I like at the end how they brought it back where it pans to the window and that's where you expect Homer to be creepily watching, but he's under the bed. All right. How about you, BT? What joke, for better or worse, stood out to you from this episode?
This has one of my favorite jokes from the latter day, which is, what happened to your band? Oh, they all switched to regular pop. All you have to do is change Jesus to baby.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they'll go to hell.
They'll all go to hell. This one stood out to me because South Park made the exact same joke.
They did, didn't they?
Before or after? Because I think we found this out, didn't we?
Yep, I did my research for once and found out, yes, South Park made this joke in 2003, 2 years after this episode came out.
Simpsons did it.
Simpsons did it from the...
I hope you can hear my tongue clicking. Is it clicking or clucking?
I usually say titching.
Tutting?
Tutting is good.
But it was funny in the South Park episode, that's the Faith Plus One, where Cartman starts a Christian rock band and he just takes a bunch of Stevie Wonder songs and changes
Changes baby to Jesus.
Need you in my life, Jesus. I want to get down on my knees and start praising Jesus. I want to feel his salvation all over my face.
Stop it.
Is that one where he has to get a platinum record?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you get myrrh. Like, well, you don't go platinum? No, but you can go double myrrh.
So he loses the bet because Christian rock records go gold, frankincense, and myrrh, not gold, silver, and platinum. Yeah, that was a great joke and a great way to sort of write off the band as well with a funny joke.
Exactly.
Jordan, what's a joke for better or worse that stood out to you?
It was a bit that kind of made me kind of go, oh, yeah, it's been done and please stop doing it, was the rich Texan. The bit where he keeps backflipping between, now you get out your pen and sign this paperwork. Like it would just kept going and going and going. And you're like, there's not even a, like it's too predictable now.
Mood swings. Mood swings.
Mood
swings.
Although that scene did create the line, "You're off your tuffet," and I quite enjoyed that.
That was good.
Mood swings. Mood swings.
Yeah, I normally hate this sort
Stop it.
I normally hate this sort of joke, but I don't know. I like the one this one rolled out. You're full of it. God's grace. Now get out your pen.
It makes me sick. There aren't more people like you.
I love the rich Texan in this episode, actually, but I get where you're coming from because I normally don't like the whole mood swing joke.
I think the mood swings bit, not in this episode, I think the mood swings one is the only time I have liked the mood swings thing. I mean, first off, each one is a reaction to the warning of mood swings, and because it's a bit about how repetitive his bit is, you know? It's almost the Family Guy bit going,
Or the Simpsons bit of stepping on rakes.
Or the Simpsons bit of stepping on rakes. It's where the point is that, oh shit, there he goes again. There he goes again. There he goes.
Like the Simpsons bit with the stepping on rakes. Like that was funny the first time it was ever used. And it's just the fact that it was dragged out was fine because it was the first time it was done. However, if you've already seen the joke and it's a joke that relies on you being like, oh, the joke's over. Oh my God, this is getting silly. Oh, they've done one more time. You can't repeat that joke. That's a one-time.
You get one ticket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No stamps when you exit the car.
Because otherwise, you already know what the joke is. You see the stepping race and you think, okay, well, this joke is going to go for at least a minute.
I've got 15 seconds. I'm taking a pee break.
Yeah.
You pee really quickly.
He does, and explosively.
Good to know.
Guy needs to take a squeegee in with him.
I have a condition.
So the thing that I really liked about this episode is that despite it being a teens and despite it sort of being a sketch show at the start and a little bit at the end, I felt like the story was really well paced out in this episode, and I really liked the reveal of the sketch pad, even though the whole sorting machine, the bloody tree shredder that they bring in to just destroy Maud's belongings, like, was a bit overkill. I still liked how Ned stumbled upon that.
Yeah, I think it made sense. The story, you're absolutely right. It doesn't suffer from what a lot of the later Simpsons suffers from, which is nothing really works together.
Yeah.
From beginning, middle, and end, it felt paced really well. There was enough of people actually in the park. There was a legitimate reason for them to dislike the park, and then the miracle happened, and just everything just flowed really nicely.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm going to disagree with both of you there is that I don't agree with how quickly Praiseland is built is really quick, and there's no like jump to like another season, or that, you know, it took time. It seemingly happened over the weekend.
I don't think I minded that because I thought they paced it well out with the Simpsons helping him build it, then them going and mooching. What was Homer's line? Let me lead the begging initiative.
Get me a begging sack and a sharp stick.
Yeah. I didn't mind that because they kept it up with a couple of fast-paced jokes that I really did enjoy, like the one about Willie and his special sawdust.
Do I detect a hint of cinnamon?
Oh, I'll never tell. What fucking accent was that?
That was your
Somebody
German.
help.
Oh,
Somebody help.
don't make me run. I'm full of chocolate.
Save me.
An Indian Scottish person living in Germany.
So bad at accent.
Quick, Claire, do not know the Scottish accent.
No, never.
That was great.
Just always start with
Oh, nice. What about the Chinese racism thing?
Yeah, that was the one thing. It wasn't a good joke. I didn't like that
Wasn't
one.
a great
What Chinese racism thing?
The one where like, oh, I took these off a bunch of Chinese people. They said they're celebrating New Year in February. Oh, those crazy people.
Crazy Chinese.
Yeah.
Good food, though.
Great restaurants.
I think it was only made bad with the line of, those crazy people. I like the idea that Treef Wiggum's confiscated fireworks that they're saying they're celebrating New Year's in February.
Yeah.
That's
Full
good.
stop. Yeah, that's it. Joke's over.
Love that those Chinese restaurants. Felt on the nose, but at the same time, it's one of those times where I did feel like it was the character rather than the show being
Yeah.
racist.
Yeah, I agree.
There have been plenty of times when the show has been racist, just hands down.
And I also like that it was just Wiggum and Homer laughing at it. I like that they didn't put Ned in that scene. You know,
Yeah.
the joke was just
Yeah.
these two idiots are idiots, you know,
Yeah.
and that saved it. I think if they'd had all three of them there going crazy, you know,
Yeah.
those ethnics,
Yeah.
not so good.
BT, was there a moment from the story that stood out to you?
I like how they bring back Rachel at the end of it as well. That kind of
Yeah.
bookends it very nicely and ties it together quite well.
And gives you optimism for Ned's future, and it sort of
Yeah.
ended
Yeah.
the same way as the other one. Like,
Yeah, and it does, however, lead me to a Jordan, if I may enter your anal corner without your permission.
Beaches anal corner.
fucking hell.
It's still his. I'm just visiting. When Homer shows the Maud's indent in the bed and says, "Oh, that's Maud's side." Nope. In the previous episode, Alone Again, Natural Diddly, that's Ned's side.
Is it?
Yes.
There we go.
I noticed it then, and I noticed it now.
Oh, that's right, because that's the scene where he goes to reach over to
yeah,
the
to
left.
her
Yes.
side, and it's not there. So which side is it, Simpsons writers? You didn't think we noticed, but we did.
Maybe that was actually his imprint.
Oh,
He was
wait a
preserving
minute.
his
like
own
when he
imprint.
screams at the
Yeah.
flower.
We've
Yeah.
never seen Maud and Ned together at the same time.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying those boobs and butt are his?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All his.
I
was gonna
reckon
say-
he would have gone crazy, worn a wig and a bra.
That's what I wanted to say.
That's why he made the masks.
So he just goes full psycho.
Yeah. What I wanted to say was that the haircut scene of him like creeping up and cutting her hair while she was asleep really had like a Hitchcock Psycho vibe to it, you know?
Yeah, the shadowing and the looming.
Yeah,
I
the
make you
shadowing and the
pretty.
looming
Yeah.
and him being obsessed with his dead mom and dressing up in the wig and everything versus him being obsessed with his dead wife and dressing her up with the wig and everything.
Yep, very similar.
But that's not in Ned's character, really. He's more of like an obsessed fan than he is an actual stalker, crazy person.
Yeah.
In this thing, he's not malicious at all.
Yeah, I feel like the slow pan up the hallway with all the photographs, then him dressing her in the clothes, and then waking up in the middle of the night, and he's like almost insane in the cutting of his hair. It's like he is channeling the dead spirit.
He did there was that other joke as where it's like,
very
"Good night,
Hitchcocky.
Maud." I mean Rachel.
I mean
Maud.
I mean
Yeah.
And then
Maud.
There's actually a really quick kind of allusion to that earlier on where he's like, well, wait just like Maud gone minute.
Maud gone,
Maud
yeah.
gone minute.
Yeah, it's quick. They don't call attention to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's something very Hitchcocky in that whole run of scenes. I think that's a really great way to kind of show Ned, whose character never breaks. He's always too good to be true.
Except when he did.
Except when he did. Yeah. Like the
calm
few
down,
times when he
diddly-diddly.
mean that much more because it's coming from, you know, when the mighty fall, they fall with a squelch noise.
And that's what
Yeah.
I liked about this episode so much more than Alone Again, because that was more dealing with the dating video, and of course Ned wouldn't have been ready to date that soon
Yeah.
afterwards.
No.
And Maud's death was just a setup for a bunch of sketch show style jokes. And
Yeah.
play count. How many times before tonight have you seen this episode?
I'm going to say like 4 or 5 maybe.
Or Bitty?
Not once, not twice, but thrice.
Jordan?
I was going to say maybe once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah, Claire?
Oh, somewhere between 5 and 10. I've seen it actually pretty frequently.
I thought I won
Yeah.
that
Quite
round.
like this episode.
I remember I had a compilation of Simpsons episodes on a VHS, and back when I was in high school, I used to get stoned and put it on. And
You? Come on.
Straight edge, Elliot.
yeah, that was only my nickname for the first year of high school, and then I discovered pot and became that.
You just became a sloth.
Yep. Want some salt?
I wanted the salad, not the salt. You
Pot
stoner.
made me do this.
Kids, look up Stoner Sloth on YouTube. It's an Australian ad. It's hilarious.
It's just never not funny. It's all three of the ads are as equally perfect bits of comedy that weren't intended to be that way. Was there any quotes, impactful moments from this episode that stuck with you over the years?
I like We're the Neighbors, and we don't think.
Yeah, that was a really cute knowing Lisa line there.
I do want to start saying off your tuffet. That is quite good. I do also quite like Chalmers' quote of, I've never been this close to rubbing my eyes in disbelief. Oh, what the hell? Yeah?
I'll treat myself.
One thing that's always stuck to me is the little orphan gag throughout
Oh,
the whole
yeah.
thing. You know, I think the orphanage needs a fourth wall. 3 is not enough.
Is there something
Wrong with the miracles?
I was going to say, is that poor Violet?
Who's
Is
poor
one of
Violet?
them poor Violet? What's your name? Poor Violet. Like, from...
Google.
Yeah, Google on the insects, and I'm going to say something. Is there something wrong with the miracle? And then it leads into the joke of Flanders calling like the gas company. So how poisonous is your gas? Wow.
But I mean, like outside with plenty of ventilation.
How is that worse? I love that scene. And
so permanent brain damage. I love a good one-sided phone call routine.
Yeah.
Poor Violet is from Miracle on Evergreen Terrace, the one where Bart sets the tree on fire and then says someone burgled their Christmas presents, and then everyone chips in, including the orphanage. And I'm pretty sure, was that her?
Yeah, I think it's
you're right. That is the same
case.
orphan.
Poor Violet.
Poor Violet.
Yeah. But yeah, I just want to quickly go back to that phone call routine because that is just some hilarious comedy right there of doling out the information about something really horrible in a really funny way.
And I love that it's Ned knows what he should do and he's really trying to find a way around it.
Trying to stay ever the optimist, you know?
And there is another joke out of this whole thing, and it's a throwback
I can't feel my legs. Was it that?
Blood. I taste blood. No. The orphans are lighting the candles next to the gas main that's broken, and Homer and Flanders have to tackle them. And it goes back to the Texan, "Your gas-sniffing, orphan-beaten souls."
That was great.
So love it.
Yeah, I loved the Rich Texan in this episode. Richard Texan, as he's known. The one quote that has stayed with me over the years, and I can't get an ice cream headache without thinking about this. Get that kid 50 cc's of hot fudge.
You're going to feel a slight chocolatey sensation.
Oh, man, how satisfied does Nelson look? I really wanted that fudge.
I felt satisfied watching that.
I want to know if it works, but I just never have 50 cc's of hot fudge around.
I know,
We
we
can
should
change
carry that
that.
all the time.
You're going to feel a slight chocolatey sensation. I'm going to use that.
Also, Dan, we are totally
Yeah.
going to Macca's on the way home and getting a hot fudge sundae.
Yes.
Yeah.
All syrup
You'd
squishy.
never be able to get brain freeze from it.
I know, it's
You
the
could just
perfect
keep-
balance.
Hot fudge has to be separate so we can test this hypothesis.
Okay, fair
Okay.
enough.
I'll get a tub of fudge. You get a tub of just ice cream.
Oh,
Can I
I'll
have
get
a
a little
fudge?
camping stove so that you can keep the fudge at a perfect hot temperature, and then boom.
Where would we be without you, Jordan?
We're scientists. Any other quotes, stuff before we move on?
Ooh.
Yes, you in the stripes.
It's kind of a terrible and stupid joke, but I still really, really liked it. When the mask first starts floating and Wiggum goes, "What's that floating mask? You want me to shoot everyone?" He starts going for the gun and they're like, Nah, I'm just kidding. It is a miracle. It's a miracle.
It's a miracle, folks. Calm down. No, that was great.
Wiggum is so self-aware in that moment
He
as
is
well.
a piece of shit. What a prick. I love it.
There was another quote that I liked that was about when Rod and Todd are like, "Why is everyone getting visions, Daddy?" And he goes, "There's no answers. Just like how airplanes work."
Good old
Yeah.
Flanders.
Yeah,
Well,
miracle.
this leads perfectly into the workiness of this episode. So yeah, they were hallucinations. It's not like real wackiness, but it did lead to some wacky situations, like Disco Stu seeing that John Travolta has to wait in heavens.
Something I noticed about that. Liza Minnelli was in the queue as well. Is she disco?
I think she'd go to a
Well,
club.
maybe she didn't get in, you know?
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't. She was behind Travolta,
Yeah.
so she's definitely
Maybe-
not getting in.
Well, maybe that was her hell. Frank Sinatra was there.
Waiting in
Like-
queue.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
if hell is waiting in line for heaven.
Oh, savage.
You might get in, you might not. Do you want to lose your place?
But yeah, I'd actually say the Disco Stew bit was the one part of the episode that didn't work for me. It just was like, hey, celebrity impression. Hey, second celebrity impression.
Yeah.
I think he's too
I
much
liked
of like a D-list character. Like, I quite liked Comic Book Guy's one.
Oh, yeah?
And I would have loved to see Edna's one, but I'm pretty sure it would not be
Oh,
suitable for TV.
No. She was having such a good time. But yeah, other wacky moments in the hallucination bit. Who else was hallucinating? Skinner, but you didn't see his.
Yes, explain it. There was a pretty obvious setup and delivery of, was I there? No, it was my heaven.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
The wackiness early on is when Homer gets a pile of ice cream and gets it hitting the electrical
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
someone
was-
pointed out on Facebook that that's not how electricity works. Yeah, so Frink's cow.
Yeah,
I
very wacky.
actually liked this bit. And yeah, Marge's little cute can I have she's actually pretty excited about the cow.
Yeah.
I thought the cow was fun. I didn't like that the cow spoke English, and the cow
Yeah.
was like, huh?
I like
Uh-uh.
that the cow had a scarf and earmuffs and little booties.
But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I like that bit too.
Well, I mean, the Freon, that's going to freeze you from the inside.
What is
surely.
Freon? Sorry.
It's a gas.
It's like, isn't it
Liquid.
refrigerator coolant?
Mm.
It's a coolant. It is a coolant.
It's so cold it burns me.
Yeah, it's very, very cold.
So she would have had some seriously like insulated udders.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say wackiness. Homer decides to weed by just pouring gas on
Yeah.
on the
This
ground.
bit was a bit disappointing.
Teach, pick me. I'm ever so smart.
Yes, you there.
There was 2 sheeps, and there was a bar, and then there was like a wireframe sheep and a skeleton.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was one sheep was
real
getting
sheep.
burned alive.
Yeah, it was my Jordan's unicorn, actually.
fair enough.
It was that one of them didn't move, just sat there and got burned to death.
To death.
Wait,
Yeah.
they were real
That is
sheep that got
one
burned.
of them
Yeah,
was.
one
One
of
of them
them
was a
was
real
real.
sheep, got burned to death.
That makes it worse then, I guess. Like, because I thought this was a very unnecessary part of the whole building it up montage
Yeah.
because I like the line, oh, it's a controlled burn. Well, yeah, I mean, there were a few wacky moments, but like nothing super cartoony in it, and I think it was all contextualized. But how about the heart of this episode? Did you guys feel bumps?
There was that one bit where Ned is like, oh, it costs a lot of money and blah, blah, blah. And
But
he looks
Mommy
around.
wanted it.
All the kids are
But
nodding
Mummy
and
wanted it.
Bart and Lisa are nodding and Marge is nodding. And then...
Homer's looking at his watch and then goes, oh, nodding. Yes, we're supposed to be nodding.
But, you know, it was kind of cute, that bit. It was very like, oh, I don't know. It's going to... But, you know, everyone obviously wanted him to do it, and they thought maybe it would be good for him.
Everyone's
but,
pressuring him into doing it.
well, that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, he clearly is accepting the help to move on because he recognizes that he's got a problem and gets the Simpsons to flush all
Intervene.
of Maud's
when you
stuff out.
recognize you have a problem, you get your friends to intervene.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what we're supposed to do?
Intervene,
Whoa.
not encourage, yeah.
Shit.
Beej, your love of cashews has gone too far.
Why do you say things just to wound?
You know, the first part of this 2-parter, they showed very little of Rod and Todd at all, even acknowledging that their mum was gone. And
Yeah.
I think they had a little bit more of the kids in this one, and I like that. And I like that they were obviously, you know, missing their mum and thinking about her as well. It
Yeah,
was just nice.
definitely. And even though it was a couple of bits, like it was the couple of bits that felt missing from the other episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ned feeling the heart when like he thinks that there's miracles going on, and oh, thank you, Maud, for saving this. Like that was a beautiful act break right there.
Mm.
The big hard bit as well at the end that we forgot about, you know, are you sure you want to do this? They're trying to allude to, you know, they're in the bedroom, they're going to do it.
Yep.
But it's just the fact that, like, you know, yes, we're finishing off the grieving process. I'm going to pull out the divot, the indentation now. Like, I thought that was quite lovely.
Well,
Yeah.
I just like that the relationship wasn't portrayed as a replacement for Maud.
No.
I
No.
think the fact that she was very respectful of his boundaries, very understanding with his insanity, which frankly I wouldn't have been, would have run for the hills. But her, you know, put on a wig and let's never talk about this again. She was just a very lovely person. I think it was a really nice balance.
Yeah, I kind of felt
You
like
know.
she had like the right amount of agency as well. She wasn't there
Yeah.
as a replacement or as and now that's over. But she also wasn't, a there and gone either.
Yeah.
That's a good point because the episode leaves it very open. They don't do something like have sex where that would be a very big thing for Ned, and like he'd only do that with someone he was ready to move on with
Or some Vegas hookers.
Or a movie star later on.
later on. But yeah, in this one they leave his relationship with Rachel open, and it's mostly friendly, and she's mostly just being a supportive person rather than, as you guys said, as a replacement. Yeah, I thought this episode dealt with the heart beautifully. But did it feel like an episode of The Simpsons?
Yeah, I think it pulled it off well.
It started off with what was basically like the market series of sketches, which is like the traditional Simpsons intro, you know?
Start up with they're eating ice cream today.
They're eating ice cream today. There's a market. Everyone's got their own different stalls. We do a couple of bits of different stalls and things.
Yep, and what was Reverend Lovejoy's? Oh, there's some Unitarian ice cream.
Yeah.
hmm I did like Commandment.
Oh, yeah.
I liked bubblegum.
And I like the sign gag of a Sunday service you can swallow.
Gross.
And Barton Millhouse at the start as well. That's a
Crawling in my
into-
mouth and I don't care.
Who hasn't been in that food coma? But yeah, in terms of feeling like an episode of The Simpsons, I felt like integrity was on top form. Like, even though you could say Homer was being a little bit of a jerk-ass with the tree shredding thing.
I feel like the first part of the episode, he was a bit of a dick. There are a few jokes in there that I wasn't 100% in love with, but they really fixed it. You know, by the middle and the end of the episode, they finished strong.
Picked
Yeah.
up momentum.
And I think that it was much better. There were lots of things in the first part, like Homer being a bit of a dick and the Cletus joke I didn't love.
What was that?
Yeah, I've forgotten it.
He asked for ice cream and he doesn't know the word for chocolate. I'll have the darky one, you know.
I'll have the darkety kind.
Yeah, that's right. a few little things, and then the ice cream getting zapped and stuff. I was like,
Yeah, that
it's
wasn't
fine, but
amazing.
it's not amazing. Exactly. They were very average sorts of jokes.
Yeah,
There was-
everything up until Rachel Jordan getting introduced, I think, was pretty damn weak.
Yeah, it was weak. That's the main thing. It wasn't terrible. It was just weak. But because they finished strong, it sort of made everything else better.
Well, not only did they stick the landing, I felt like they stuck multiple landings. Like, you're right, it did kind of start out like a sketch show, but then, yeah, Rachel gets introduced and Ned has to move on, Praiseland, and then Praiseland shutting down, but you still need to make it feel like a win for him. I felt like The Simpsons just nailed it on every time.
I did like, and I normally don't like teenage girl Homer. I'll phrase him as teenage girl Homer, where he's all giggly and like silly and, going, ooh, boy likes you.
He can hear you, Rachel.
I did actually rely on that back and forth. It was one of my last moments of, ooh, she wants to get coffee. I can hear her. Ooh, he can hear you.
And then him playing with the little origami fortune
Yes,
teller.
the fortune
Yeah.
teller.
There's only
Yeah.
one way to find out.
Ned has cooties.
That was adorable.
I like that, and I think Teenage Girl Homer comes up quite a bit. A new phrase coined. Thank you.
I think that complementary to that, Ned's blushing like a kind of a
Oh, that was adorable.
Yeah.
like a
Mr.
child.
Flanders, I thought you didn't like her. Ha ha, Ned likes a girl.
Yeah.
But yes or no, would you watch this episode again?
Oh, yeah, I would. I will.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it again. What playlist are we going to put it in?
Flanders.
Death.
Amusement parks.
Yeah. Mix it in with the Storytime Village episode that this one referenced.
Itchy and Scratchy Land.
Oh,
Where
man.
someone apparently died?
Yeah.
Because they're all like, oh, yeah, close
Child
down
was
after that child
beheaded.
was decapitated.
It wasn't the best park in the world, There's this Mother Goose. The following cars have been broken into.
Hallucinations episodes.
Ah.
Yeah, put this with cleaning and I must destroy you.
Yep. Guest stars for this episode. Yeah, the only guest star was Sean Colvin, who played Rachel. And musical moments, she had a little song at the start.
What was it about?
Jesus loves me, that I know, and something.
It's funny how I don't remember that song at all, despite seeing that episode like 5 seconds ago.
I know, I remember.
I remember the
about
one from the
Jesus
first
was
part.
involved.
Oh, there was a creepy line in it, though. I'm a groupie knocking on his door. This ties back into the whole Cartman. Wait, is this sexual?
Yes, probably.
Yes.
Mm.
No.
Yeah. Oh, body of Christ. A great swimmer's body, oh, muscled up and toned body of Christ.
Stop it.
A body I
You've
wish I
been
could...
warned? Stop it.
I love it when Elliot sings about Jesus.
Danny, is there anything you'd change about this episode?
The only thing that didn't happen that should have happened was giant gas explosion.
Orphans just flying.
Yeah, orphans doing the leap, No, or like Homer and Ned each doing the explosion leap with like an orphan under each arm.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, perfect ending. And then like you can have chunks of stone Maud just chunking.
Maud has wrought her vengeance on us.
Oh, like her head just
Yeah.
goes and crashes into some guy's like windshield.
Oh, like Cloverfield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm happy with that one.
Let's
Beach,
watch
your
Cloverfield.
turn.
I
Okay.
have asked this question many times, Danny, and that is easily the best answer. Guys, he set the bar pretty high.
Yes.
Well done.
Having said that, BT, what would you change about this episode?
I mean, like, I'd change the beginning so it was tighter and funnier and just, you've ruined it all.
Change it up. Maud isn't dead. She faked her own death and is living in the Maldives.
Wow.
She's going under the pseudonym of Rory B. Bellows.
Oh, yeah. She was actually an international assassin who
my
who
God.
got Manchurian candidate in it.
Yes. Yes. At the end, you see her at like the French cafe with her butler.
With like a
that
sniper
happened?
rifle.
Oh, and Hibbert was into it. That's why he knew when to leave the stand and go down and,
Declare she's
Declare
dead.
she's
Ooh,
dead.
The pieces fit.
Oh my God.
no ambulances involved. Everything's making sense.
Perfect. Claire, do you have any changes you'd like to make?
Nah, I'm good. I think I like it the way it is.
All right.
Without explosions?
Oh, always more explosions.
Wait a minute. You're not Danny. Rips off mask. It's Michael Bay.
That
It's
explains
Maud.
quite a lot.
BT, any other notes?
Nedwood Flanders.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
my other note.
Ow.
I had to look,
Yeah.
I had to look up
Thank you.
on like Wiki Simpsons if is that like actually his
It
real name.
must be canon
and it
now.
is, but then I've also found aliases Stupid Flanders.
Oh,
Stupid,
shit.
sexy Flanders.
Jordan, any other notes?
A couple of anal corners.
Jordan's Anal Corner.
Oh, it's a
Order.
trio now.
Order.
With an echo pedal.
Um,
Pedal.
Maud gets out of... It's not Maud. Rachel gets out of bed and actually goes over the indent. She gets out on that side, the indent side.
Yes,
I'm
I
like,
did notice that.
oh, she would have fucked that up royally. Would have had to start the shit out of that.
That's actually interesting that they didn't have sort of Flanders lose sight of her and scramble to fix the indentation.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he was coming to the conclusion that he'd gone mad. I suppose
Yeah.
it was nice that he had the gravitas to realize that he'd pushed it too far.
yeah. I mean, it's an unnecessary. I just wonder. Yeah. What else?
Ned talks about, it's really expensive. You got to get money and you got to pay for turnstiles. And then when they open the park, there are no turnstiles or ticket booths to let people in.
They're expensive.
Anal corner.
Yeah.
Also, Ned is like on every booth running everything, and he's by the ticket door, and he's by
Yeah.
the exit door.
I did notice that Principal Skinner, when he was having his hallucinations, said Kalamata a few times, and it made me think of olives. Really want some olives.
I thought he was doing that Indiana Jones, the shit one.
Kali Ma?
Yeah. Was that it? Kamamata Boohoo? Was that one
No.
of the things that they chant?
Don't think so.
No,
I
think
don't
it's
know.
just
I've only
Kalima.
seen Temple of Doom once because it sucks.
Kalamata olive. Kalamata. No, wait.
Kalima.
Yeah.
Carlo Marta, and he just reaches out and grabs an olive out of the jar.
Nice.
Out from like in your chest.
It was in my
Do you
pocket.
have to keep your olives there? Yep, for the bit.
Claire, any other notes?
There's only one other joke that I liked enough to write down. He
You.
first meets Rachel, and she says, "Oh, what about getting a coffee sometime?" He's like, "Well, that'd be great, but I'm busy tomorrow because I've got lifeguard duty at the baptism pool." Or something like that. Loved it.
That was funny. You can imagine him as well, sitting up on a high chair near
Yeah, right.
in the church.
No running.
The church. They're dunking people in that little bathtub thing. Blows the whistle. I think you've been under long enough.
All right, time for Elliot's quick fire notes.
Pew,
More
pew, pew.
like slow fire.
Why did that sound so sensual?
'Cause
Hey,
it's
Elliot,
slow
time for your
fire.
slow fire notes.
Because it came out of my mouth.
Just back at the ice cream social, it only just occurred to me on this rewatch that it was a church-run event, yet they invited Frink to do some sciencey stuff and show his science cow. That is an abomination to God.
Yeah, so they can point and go, look what science hath wrought.
Ooh, ice cream.
cows.
Quick fire.
Pachoo! She found a rhyme for Hezekiah. What do we think that was?
Jeremiah.
Jebediah.
Tits on fire.
Oh, yeah. Third option. Yes.
Quick fire! That was good gun harmony right there. Ooh, 3 pairs of shoes.
Someone's
Has
got a
a fetish.
Oh, Marge. I feel so sorry for her in that moment.
You can tell she's been wearing the same bloody Kmart ballet slippers for the last
Right.
20
Yeah,
years.
and now we know why she has chronic foot pain.
Yeah. Well, yeah, bad shoes,
Chronic
web feet.
nagging.
And those things are so stinky. We were
Web-
talking about
web
stinky
fe-
feet
her
before,
web
and it's
feet?
because of the like plastic ballet
Oh,
slippers
yeah.
from Kmart.
Yeah.
Mm,
Hold in all the sweat and filth.
Yeah.
stink machines.
Pull the Marge juice.
I love the plaque on the Maud statue. She taught us the joy of shame and the shame,
of
of
joy.
joy.
Yeah.
Real Flandersy.
Yeah, totally. I like how Homer's doing a bonehead in the background of Ned's little news.
Yeah, when he's on the local news.
His belly dance was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
He was pretty good at it.
So yeah, the actual rides we haven't talked about at Praiseland, and I loved how this folded out where you stay optimistic for Flanders that this park will be successful.
Yeah.
And then you actually see it in practice. Oh, this is an awful idea.
Yeah,
It could have been
really
cool, though.
liked. I really liked the thing of, oh, what's the matter, little Christian? What about a Noah's Ark of jelly beans? Ooh, is there 2 of every flavor? No, they're all the same flavor. Plain.
Maud's favorite.
I liked Splash Mountain, where he's like, you're going to have to listen to all 150 of my songs, and then the locks come down.
Yeah.
And they're screaming.
So they were having fun up until that point.
Yeah.
Great. You're just waiting for the drop.
King
I
David's wild.
really liked Ralph's like, can I wait in the car? Let's both wait in the car.
I think it could have been a really cool park, though. I think there's probably some cool stuff in the Bible that you could make rides out of.
Yeah.
Like, being in a lion's den and there's all the snakes and,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of
Yeah.
shit in there
Well,
that's
even
really cool.
Whacker Satan could have been good, but
Oh, for real.
They just need something to whack it with. No, you need to destroy Satan with your faith.
You-
My face? You say I'm ugly?
No,
I think you're beautiful.
Yeah, have like a Moses water ride, you know.
Nice.
oh, nice.
Flip the casino tables ride.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
That was Star Wars.
What? Oh.
Very similar.
Quick fire. I loved Mo in this episode. He only had 2 scenes, but when he's trying to leave the park And Ned's going to stamp his hand. Would you like to stamp for re-entry? And,
Don't you dare.
and then later when they discover the miracle and he just goes crazy and kicks Agnes's bag several hundred feet.
I like that Agnes calls him out on it straight away.
What are you doing? Go get that. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and then
Shit,
later.
you going?
Seymour, stop that at once and go get that man who kicked my bag. Oh, jeez.
Quick fire.
Where?
Oh, yeah, and comic book guy's hallucination. We didn't talk about that. He's
did a bit.
Spock, but with laser eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets to have orgies with
Makeout
Uhura.
sessions. It's a G-rated comic.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. With Uhura
Come on.
Catwoman.
and
And
Agent 99.
99.
Yeah.
Is that from Get Smart?
Great
Yeah.
choices. Great choices.
Yeah, they are. They're top-notch choices.
She was a strong and smart, independent woman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Max.
Oh, I just got shivers.
All right, guys, I'm out of notes, so it means it's time to rank this thing.
Elliot, you gotta lean into your mic. Better.
Jordan, what is your ranking?
I think I'm going to disappoint.
Rude.
I don't actually like this one much.
We've been so glowing about it, though.
I think we've said a lot of things, but I don't know. I just didn't.
Go with your gut.
Yeah.
Then we'll kick you in it.
Yeah. I think I have to give it a bronze. Like I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not.
That's fucking low.
Yeah, I know.
It's not. It's a medal. Tell that to Olympians.
Yeah.
Bronze
Yeah,
is
they
great.
know. They know that they're failures.
Shameful bronze.
There's just not enough in this episode that makes me really, really love it. I think some of it is still quite awkward. I know there's stuff that said like, it's cute or whatever, but I'm like, it's fine. And there's some bits I just don't like. And I mean, it's still good. It's just really not my favorite.
Did you just come from the amusement park Praiseland?
Yes.
No, Praiseland.
Stop it.
BT, what is your rank?
Silver.
Why?
Just everything we said. It's a good flow. I got some yucks. A couple of things kind of did hinder it from being any higher. That beginning is very... It's not bad that it's a little bit sketch show, but it's just the sketches in it I don't like too much.
Fair enough.
But once we hit the bit with Rachel Jordan, everything else runs pretty well. There are some slow down moments. Homer with the gas is stupid. Yeah, but overall, I enjoyed the ride. I enjoyed the emotions, and I had some yucks. So that is a silver.
He enjoyed King David's wild ride. Claire?
I did not say that. Stop misquoting me.
Anyway.
I have a tremendous love of cashews. BT Calloway.
God damn it.
1987.
Came out of the womb.
Loving cashews.
It's weird because, look, my rank would be silver, but I feel like its overall rank should be like a shiny silver. Does that make sense? Like, it's a really good episode in my opinion. Like, it's really solid. It's not a gold and it's not a cubic because that's some really good competition right there.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very solid to, quite a shiny silver.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I'm giving it a gold. I actually want to give it a cubic, but I know just
Yay,
on a
I knew Elliot would help me.
Well, I actually do want to give it a cubic, but on a theoretical level, I can't ignore that, what you were saying, BT, the start isn't all that funny. The sketches are pretty hit and miss. And not that a cubic necessarily has to be a perfect episode, but I think this episode comes as close as any other Teens episodes to getting a cubic. Yeah, there are some technical things that I didn't like about it, which drag the score down for me. So that's a gold from me. Danny finishes off.
Have many other teens earned a cubic, like in the end rank? While you're looking that up, I just want to say that I really didn't like that part, Praiseland, where everyone stops and laughs, and they're like, by the way, it's a pun on Praiseland.
Yeah.
Lol, that dragged out, and no, didn't like that at all. Cubics?
Yeah, they have been. That skiing one is cubic, isn't it?
Oh,
Didn't you
Yeah,
say one?
Little Big
Yeah,
Mum got
yeah.
got 2 cubics. Like, nothing's gotten from the Teens, or HD for that matter, has gotten unanimous cubic zirconia. But I mean, there's been a smattering of episodes that have gotten cubic rankings from the Teens, not from the HD. But I'm with Cupid got 2, a Little Big Mum got 2, HOMR got 2. So what's your rank, Danny?
Look, my head says bronze, but my guts say silver.
Yep.
I have problems with the episode. There are a bunch of things I didn't like, but overall, it still felt Simpsons-y, and to me, that's the big thing. It
Yep.
felt like if I wasn't paying close attention, it would have just been a good Simpsons episode.
All right, great. Well, although that's a split rank, it'll be a silver on average. Yeah, the gold and the bronze essentially evening
each
that
other
out. This has also happened in the episodes The Departed from season 19, which us three podcast listeners can't see where I'm pointing. And this also happened with Treehouse of Horror 12 from season 13. That was the one with like the Harry Potter sketch and
Yeah.
the Pierce Brosnan house. And also Guess Who's Coming to Criticize Dinner, which I still think is criminally underranked. All right, guys, it's time to bring this 2-part special to a close.
Oh.
We are going to finally find out. We've been waiting all summer, and we're going to discover who shat on Peach's crumpets.
Finally! I have been waiting so long. So much money has been spent on private investigators.
It was
And I
George,
found out they were
wasn't it?
conmen.
I could have saved you all that money.
Yeah, could have. Now we need to investigate who cost me all that money.
And we are back, and we just watched our classic era and final episode for the evening, and the final episode for our 2-part extravaganza. This was Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 2. This was Season 7, Episode 1, first released in September of 1995, written by Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein. In this episode, it's the thrilling conclusion to Who Shot Mr. Burns. You know it, I know it, we love it. Guys, what did you think?
We love it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
What?
I almost want to go back and change my rating from the first one because for this one, cubic zirconia is not cubic enough.
Today, Junior.
Because I remember
Sorry.
when we did.
Sorry,
part-
I just want to issue a fine for referencing an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
when we're reviewing the first one, we were all like, oh yeah, this one was really good. I feel like the second one doesn't quite live up to this one because this one has all those great little plot lines. But you know what? When we get there, it'll probably be a gold. And oh my god, no, it's so good.
This is amazing. And we talked about the other one, you know, trying to forget about part 2 for a second. Did that episode work at building up the hype? And we said yes. And I think this episode lives up to matching that hype.
Man, just that first ad break is so packed.
Oh,
I mean, I watched it so many times when I was younger, but I haven't seen it for several years.
Yeah, neither.
And I'd forgotten how many of like quotable Simpsons moments have come specifically from this episode.
Yeah.
Like the whole Dr. Colossus stuff. I'd forgotten that it was this episode.
Dr. Colossus.
Amazing.
Yeah, the number of times went, that's right, that's from this one. Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, he first appears in the Lisa and Malibu Stacy episode, where Dr. Colossus was one of like the creator of Malibu Stacy's boyfriends.
Yeah,
But-
my previous husbands, Ken, Joe, Dr. Colossus.
Yeah. But yeah, Dr. Colossus in this episode was amazing.
So good. He was a rank amateur compared to Dr. Colossus.
All right, we'll let you go, but stay away from Death Mountain.
Oh, but all my stuff is there.
And even his belt just has big button with Colosso boots.
When is my lawyer coming?
He's so tired.
But this is a supervillain that has worked on his brand, you know.
Oh, man, so good.
So yeah, and if you want to hear more about Dr. Colossus, our friends over at Pods in the Key of Springfield constantly try and make up conspiracy theories involving him.
I feel like,
Nice.
he could be the puppet master to all of this.
Yeah. So just immediately, guys, what are some jokes that stood out to you?
Okay, well, I mean, the opening scene, right?
Oh, man.
Where you've got Smithers waking up in a pile of his own filth, which is already an amazing, like, opening. Hard cut.
Yeah.
It reminds you what's happened in one hit. And then you've got the dream sequence. You know, he's like, Burns is there showering. And you kind of think, well, this is a typical Smithers fantasy.
Yeah.
And then it just doubles down on the, now let's burn rubber, baby.
What are we? We're undercover detectives in the hot rod circuit.
The year is 1965.
I just love that anyone who would have watched it at the time, I don't think the Dallas viewer would be also a Simpsons viewer to have even gotten the reference.
Oh, is this a Who Shot JR thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically, because it was like, oh, he didn't get shot. It was a dream, and he's in the shower, and that's where it comes from.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
who would have gotten that? Who was
And then
watching
boom,
Simpsons
Speed
and Dallas?
Racer.
Yeah.
I just
Boom.
love Mr. Smithers' face when, as soon as Mr. Burns goes, yes, that's right, it's the year 1965. And his face just goes, oh, wait, this is...
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I do like that it announces what year it is, because that always happens when my friends walk into me. It's like, all right, it's the year 2018.
Yep.
I'm going to start doing that. Sounds like fun.
That's right.
The year is 2018, and you're listening to a podcast.
Danny, is there a joke that stands out to you?
Is there one joke that stands out to me? Get fucked. I'm sorry. I love you, Elliot. I do.
What do, man? What's a joke you like?
Oh, God.
Tell me about things you like.
There's so much. I think my favorite bit is the backwards talking section.
Oh man.
Yeah. Sorry, is this a Twin Peaks reference?
This is the basically the last couple of episodes of Twin Peaks specifically, but yeah, David Lynch definitely.
Oh, okay.
And it does it so well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, sorry Trisha, big fan of the show. I haven't watched Twin Peaks yet, but I'm out of shows at the moment, so I think I might finally get round to doing this. But sorry, go on, Jordan.
Everything about it, there's the little flashes of light off to the side that illuminate Homer. There's like a shadow kind of fluttering in the background. There's the checkered floor, the red drapes, the lamp. Everything is perfect. The backwards talking, the weird like horror element that kind of comes through.
The way she does
perfect.
the backwards dance thing.
Yeah, it's perfect Lynch. Like, it's so good. It's such a good homage to it.
What I love is, despite not knowing that at all when we first saw this as kids, everyone went to school the next day going, Chief Wiggum, don't eat the clues.
Burns his suit. Burns his suit.
I'm not following.
And it does totally sound like they recorded Yardley backwards, got her to say her lines backwards, and then
Yeah.
reversed them. Let me flip it and reverse it.
That's what she says.
Yep. So this bit, the whole Twin Peaks dream, backwards swapping dream with the flaming cards, this was awesome for giving a really clever way to set up the clue. And I love that Chief Wiggum still doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Look at Burns' suit. Yeesh.
And then it takes Eddie to come over and then actually, like, directly.
Did you have the same backwards talking dream with the burning cards?
No,
I'll drive.
And I really like the lead in as well. It's like, it's going to be an all-nighter. Better get some coffee. I had a coffee. I'll just drink this warm cream.
I really like the fact that Eddie and Lou are Eddie and Lou. I miss those guys.
Being the way they should be, yeah.
I really like Eddie. Like,
especially when Lisa walks in and goes, Mr. Burns was the richest man in town. Maybe this is about money. Oh, good one. Thanks.
He just
takes the credit for it.
Yeah, I suppose that was me.
But yeah, almost in the sense that he thinks he did say it.
Yeah. But yeah, they were doing some good, honest police work in this episode, and I like that Chief Wiggum was kind of competent.
Yeah.
I actually did like, and this is not something I really paid much attention to before, but they literally interview Maggie as one of the first people, you know, and I did like that look who's talking now joke as well. They ain't talking. The baby and the dog.
Yeah, and I think it also throws the suspicion immediately. Just go, how ridiculous is this? They're interviewing, but they get a joke out of it. They don't just do it and then move on. They do it for the jokes. You think, oh, that's a joke. You don't realize it's a clue.
Ooh.
Yeah. But it really ties into what this episode did well, is not only reminding you eloquently about what happened in the last episode, but still making it entertaining.
Yeah, because there are a couple of flashbacks, but they're led to, and so they work really well.
Yeah, the pacing of this episode is amazing. Just how they really just stick the landing.
The pacing is phenomenal. There's not, I mean, especially in the very first act, but the whole way through, there's not one wasted second, not one line that isn't a hilarious joke or pushing the plot forward in a way that doesn't feel rushed or forced or...
One thing that I really noticed on that line is that a lot of the little, not necessary to the plot jokes were still so funny.
Yeah.
One of which is after Smithers gets arrested, comes out, all the journalists are there. It's like, Dave Shorten, who are you? Where are you going? Oh, do your research, Shorten.
I love as well, I was like from the Springfield Daily Shopper as well. Like a really hard-hitting publication.
So that's like your supermarket tabloid sort of newspaper. He just saw a commotion and it's like, oh, what's happening here? Maybe there's a story. Who are you?
Where are you going?
Really, like, even like in the recap, you get a bunch of jokes like, dozens of people have gunned down in Springfield every day, but until now, none of them important.
I'm Kent Brockman. That's great. Dozens in Springfield. Like, this is meant to be a small town.
And to follow that up with, he was rushed to hospital where he was pronounced dead. He was then rushed to a better hospital where his condition was upgraded to alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the jokes question, we could just keep going.
Oh,
this
man.
episode is amazingly
So
dense.
far, everything we've mentioned is, again, first ad break.
Yeah. I've got the script in front of me, so I'm cheating. But
Shout out to FrankieAct.com. Like, subscribe, and donate on Patreon.
just because we're sort of going through how tight the intro is, the next line is, now let's talk to Chief Wiggum. And he goes, oh, hiya, Kent. That's not how a chief talks.
He's eating
an ice cream.
I've always liked that bit where Grandpa is stroking the gun and is like, "Oh, you're the bee's knees, baby. I've missed you bad." And Marge's like, "Are you talking to me?" Yes.
That was great, that scene. One thing that's always stood out to me, though, he's pouring OJ on his cereal there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on.
He's a strange old man, let's face it.
Not sure you can talk Mr. Allbrand with water.
I don't eat that anymore. I'm not allowed.
We made fun of him too much.
Yeah, fair enough. And with good reason.
Yes, Smingers did it. Case closed. Now, where's my hat? I'm going to the outhouse.
We don't have an
outhouse.
My tool's head.
Oh, Dad. Yeah, I love that. We don't have an outhouse. I've definitely said that.
Yeah,
But
and
then the
two
cut back
scenes
later. Yeah, where I
And
was
he's
just washing
hosing
it out.
Holding
Yeah.
it down and looking so pissed off.
Yeah, he did not make it in time. Oh, Dad. That was great. Were there any particular story moments that stood out to any of you?
One that I really liked, and it was one of the few moments of genuine heart in the episode for me, and it was when they announced that Homer was at the hospital and everyone's running there to basically murder him and get the reward, and Lisa jumps in front of the door and screams, "Don't shoot my dad!"
Yeah.
And I mean, the voice acting in that was really on point because it could have been played for a joke. I mean, there was joke on joke on joke up until this point, but that seemed like the genuine, like, little
Fear that they were
girl
gonna kill
really afraid
Yeah.
and knowing that he's innocent and not being able to prove it.
And especially when everyone else was just ready to write him off. Yeah, he's the deranged lunatic who didn't have a good enough reason.
Especially Grandpa, that's like bringing that awful Homer to justice.
Yeah.
Man, Grandpa was on top form of it. Who put the slippers in the dishwasher?
Who threw the cane at the TV?
Who fell into the china hutch?
You don't need to be a prickly pear. That's such a cute Marge line as
Yeah.
well.
Because we're sort of talking story and she was sort of talking heart. My favorite heart story was Smithers being like, "Could I have done it? Oh God, the guilt is driving me mad. Oh, a gun in my... It's been freshly fired. What have I done?"
And then the muffler guy just sticks.
Sticks it in his coat
Stares
pocket.
at him for a couple of seconds like, I can't help him. Here, have an advert.
Yeah.
Maybe he's upset about a muffler.
Beautiful heart, though. That is a
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
heart-rending scene.
Oh, absolutely. And it does drive him nuts, and he goes to the confessional. And
Yeah.
I love, he realizes that it wasn't him that shot Mr. Burns. He goes, well, instead of wounding a terrible old man,
I mean,
Killed an
killed
innocent man.
yeah.
That's much worse. About 50,000 volts worse. Sizzle.
Okay, who else loved Sideshow
Oh,
Mel
yeah.
in this?
I am
yeah.
Melvin Van Horn. This is my associate, Herschel Costossi.
well, just this great
Hey,
little line of, at the town meeting, Mr. Smithers mentioned he watched Comedy Central. I made a note of it, as it seemed quite unusual.
It's so... Is that like
It's
Sherlock-y
the most
a bit?
casual burn. Oh, yeah, it's total Sherlock with a bite.
And it's one of the few times where Krusty takes a sidekick role
Yeah.
and just slots into it really well. He does
Yeah.
not fight him at all in this. He's
Wacky
along for the
sidekick.
ride. Yeah.
Yep, you take the lead. You can talk eloquent like... A story moment that stood out to you?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a story moment. I liked as well, like the subtle fugitive homages
Yeah.
too. Like there's
Right
the
at
bit,
the end as well.
Yeah, the bit.
Where
of-
Milhouse jumps off the... Oh, wait, different episode. Sorry.
yeah, no, where,
Simpsons love the fugitive.
Well, first of all, yeah, where he gets out of the paddy wagon.
Mhm.
What do you call it in America? I don't know. Anyway, he gets out of that and he
We call it a paddy wagon here.
and he jumps off just as what's his name? Jasper hits the hits the
Starts
car from
pushing.
behind. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then also at the hospital where he's wearing like the lab coat and
Yeah.
everything. It's like it's a really good quick nod that you may miss it and it's not
I
called
totally
attention to
did.
at all.
Mhm.
Is it's fugitive references, which is really cool.
I haven't seen The Fugitive yet.
You should see The Fugitive. It's
It's
really
good?
good. It's really good.
Or as I used to think it was called when I was a child, the fugitive.
Nice.
That sounds like you do something for a casual... just for the fugitive. Sorry, that was terrible. Yeah,
Well,
what's your...
another part I remembered. Sorry, we're doing just parts, sort of.
Yeah,
There's
that's
so many
okay.
parts.
There's so many parts. I really, really liked Tito's musical number.
Yeah.
Oh, musical moments for this episode. Yeah.
I really love that
Beautiful.
they did the whole song and it didn't feel like, oh God, they're going to do the whole fucking song.
No,
Yeah.
it was
so
a
many
beautiful
HD
samba.
songs. I'm just like, oh, yep, they're doing the whole thing. There's going to be 7 verses of this shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, Latin music is very infectious in this way. You know, the million
Yeah.
percussion instruments and the horns. You can't not feel good when listening to Latin
And
music.
it cut to little like visual gags and things, and everyone was enjoying it. And it was
Yep.
upbeat and catchy, and it didn't drag at all.
No.
And then at the end, just as soon as Wiggum goes, "Oh, I hope all of our suspects are this much fun,"
Hard cut.
bam, hard cut.
Now let me think.
Amazing.
I love
Amazing.
how with every tick you see like Lou and Eddie and their shoulders slump and their faces like go down and they're like, oh.
Our suspects peaked so early. But yeah, Tito was amazing in this episode. Only really had that one line, but
it was a nice wrap up to his storyline as well. It made it feel like a two-parter. You know what happened to him, and also it was so savage. You were like, yeah, he doesn't need to kill him. He just keeps singing this song.
But yeah, it tells us he's gone back to showbiz and he is just burning burns.
And that's how he gets his revenge in life, with slanderous mumbles.
So good.
And again, didn't feel boring and draggy, had funny lyrics.
Even the little like visual gags of Burns' face on the bongo drum.
Yeah. I don't speak a lot of Spanish, but I did catch El Diablo con dinero, which means the devil with money.
Yeah. And he says corazón del perro, which means the heart of a dog.
Oh.
And when he says adios viejo, it means goodbye, old man.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Despise you, but all of us despise you.
Please
die and fry in hell, you rotten, rich, old wretch. Anyway.
No, it's not. No, it's the next one.
Adios. Hasta la vida.
And I love how the cuts as well, where they got the guy who's holding the plate of clams who are all getting into it.
The guy at the condom machine.
Yeah.
Just like forgetting what he's there for, just knocking one out every beat.
The only thing that annoyed me was that like both of those were just out of time with the rest of the song. It just annoyed me. And
I feel like they're probably animated before the actual music was done.
Jordan Zane will call it Elliot edition. The guy playing the Weiro. Really? No one? Okay.
Yeah.
The guy playing the Weiro.
Honor.
The guy playing the Weiro was not playing it right.
No.
You meant to stroke it up and down, and he was just hitting it like it was a timbale.
Yeah, hitting it doesn't get anywhere. Stroking it works much better.
Stroke your Weiro, people. Rekka chicka.
That was pretty hard.
Sorry.
Yes, I had some key notes I wanted to speak about. Firstly, going back to what Jordan was saying, that moment with the fugitive homage where Homer's wearing the white lab coat, he kind of leans in over Birds and it shadows the light, and it's a very ominous moment for you. You're like, oh, maybe Homer could have done it.
Yeah.
But the story point that sticks out to me is when Lisa's like, Nancy Drew says all you need to be an investigator is inquisitive temperament and two good friends, and I've got an inquisitive temperament. First of all, really funny, really sad, but it also really organically puts her investigation into the plot line of the story.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just a quadruple whammy of greatness right
Well,
there.
also, Wiggum is using Agatha Christie,
Seconds
so,
later.
you know, it's not that far
It's
off.
just jumping on that. It's just interesting that they didn't have Bart and Lisa doing the detective thing. And I guess maybe that just speaks to how packed this episode was.
I think
that
it does.
They didn't have time to involve Bart. And, like, really, Bart didn't have much in this episode at all.
I was about to say, well, the only thing I can think of is the who wants chocolate ice cream.
Such a good moment.
Well, he also says, I don't know what the lead up is to it anymore. I can't remember it, but
DNA, positive ID,
Yeah,
those
that's-
things don't hold up in court. Run, Dad! Sorry, Beach, yeah?
Okay, because I remembered the good Tito Quente cut to skin a bit, but
Quente.
I forgot. Okay, how about shut up? But then I forgot that it continues on, that we then go to Willie doing the basic instinct
Oh,
bit.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
So
I guess they'll load again. You've been warned about that.
Oh.
I like
then-
how they say ground tender groundskeeper Willie.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's his first name is groundskeeper Willie.
Yeah. Well, again, that's another Lisa bit, and I do like that she also says liquor connoisseur Barney Gumble, and it's like
Yeah.
that's how she would phrase drunk.
Yeah.
she's a sweetie, just like Marge.
Yeah, but then you've also got from Willie, we then go to Mo at the polygraph machine.
Oh,
and that's
man.
just
Oh, what a scene.
so good.
And I love it because Mo didn't need to volunteer any of this information.
No.
He could have
No.
shut up at any point, but he keeps digging.
You just get me out of these. I don't deserve it. Meh.
I don't deserve this kind of shabby treatment. And it's maybe a reference that probably got lost on a lot of Australians, but Sears, it's kind of like a Kmart, but a
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
bigger.
Bit
Yeah.
closer to Maya.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like they're
quite,
not
not
that
quite.
upmarket
No,
either.
so-
No. It's basics. Like it's
it's-
not.
It's just a typical like
It's Target.
fashion catalog. It's not a sexy
I'd
catalog.
say that, yeah,
Target
Target's
in
probably...
Australia is different to Target in
Well-
America, but for listeners. I don't think anyone in this family is capable of attempted murder. You never know what you're capable of. I never thought I could shoot down a German plane, but last year I proved myself wrong.
Last year.
But now I want to find out the storyline where Grandpa goes and shoots down the German plane. I bet it was something to do with a tontine.
Yeah.
But it does, like, it still gives you a bit of suspicion that any of these people do have sort of darker tendencies, and like Homer as well. I think this episode does a good job of keeping you suspecting him. You know, he went berserk when he couldn't remember his name.
Berserk is right.
Oh, that's so
Can I have
good.
some iced tea, please?
Well, I even like the line where Lisa's just like, well, actually, Mom, it's usually the most common suspect. Otherwise, it's just some crazy person that doesn't have a reason. And they
Everyone.
all look at Homer and it's like, I had a perfectly good reason.
He couldn't remember my name.
And what you were saying in the last episode, Danny, about, you know, this is like a much bigger issue than we're giving it credit for. And poor Homer's slide into depression about this. Like,
Hell, even at the very end when Burns wakes up and Homer's like, say I never shot you before.
yeah.
Burns even then goes on to burn him even harder. But he's like,
Yeah.
your kind has neither the cranial capacity nor the opposable digits to operate a firearm.
Savage as fuck.
Fucking hell, Burns' small appearances in this episode right at the end, just, they crammed so many good Burnsisms.
Oh my god. The way that he goes from going, Simpson, Homer, Simpson, Homer, Homer, which were, by the way, the Dr. Nick bit, phenomenal.
Oh,
everybody.
Son?
That was incredible. But from mid-shaking, going from, Simpson, Homer, Simpson, Homer, Simpson, to
Simpson.
To Smithers, who the hell is this clown that's shaking me? He still has no idea who he is.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And then calls him a primate in so many words.
Oh, it's killer.
What a
so many quotes in this movie.
I know. And again, Burnsy at the end, he had only like a couple of minutes, if that, to squeeze in as much awesome Burns in. And yeah, you don't have the opposable digits and free to wallow in my own crapulence. Fucking excellent.
Squeeze out some Burnsians? No, with my last ounce of strength, I sucked out my gold fillings and swallowed them.
What are called gold
Those
fillings?
paramedics.
Gold fillings.
Yeah, those paramedics have sticky fingers.
So,
Tooth fillings, like,
It
Oh, the
means the
joke is that-
paramedics were going to steal his gold fillings and sell them for money.
I mean, I just can't get over how many jokes are in the whole thing. Like, even the Dr. Nick bit, one of the jokes was like, when you're in that coma, did you feel your brains getting damaged?
yeah, they haven't really upgraded him to a much better hospital.
When it adjourned, I rushed to the lavatory to apply my camouflage makeup. Blast! I took my mother's makeup by mistake. Oh, excuse me, ma'am.
Superintendent Chalmers. Oh
My God.
But anything else he tells you is a filthy lie.
See, what I love about this bit is that I think it gives new context to the whole let me think bit, where it's like, is he sort of, okay,
Stalling.
how much of the truth can I use in this
Yeah.
moment?
What can I say?
Well, I never really thought about it before, but this doesn't imply that, Skinner was going to shoot him. He had a gun. He was putting on camouflage makeup.
Yep.
He was going to gun him down.
Yeah. Well, maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was just trying on.
He had a gun
He
with a
likes how
silencer.
he likes how it looks with his makeup and his lipstick. And
He said he was going to ambush Mr. Burns.
oh yeah, okay, fair enough.
He got an ex-Green Beret
Yeah,
mad.
yeah.
Yeah,
Skinner is a
that's
bit of a hard ass. I mean, how far into it? Like, makeup takes time.
That's what I like.
And he's applying it not like lines on his face in wrong colors or something, but he's done his eyeshadow, he's got his blush on.
Yeah, he's done
And then
the
he's like, wait a
mascara.
second.
Yeah, Superintendent Chalmers would have had some very saucy testimony, that's for sure.
Sidewalks for normal walking, not fancy walking.
Yes! Oh, I've said that so
Simmer
many
down
fucking
and let
times.
you go.
Jasper in this episode was great, and yeah, later driving the old timey car into the.
Yeah.
And one of my personal favorites, you shot who in the what now?
And I've used that as well.
Or the, do you know who shot Mr. Burns? Because we are really up the creek on this one.
Boom, ad break.
And that was great because that first act set to give you suspicion of Smithers and then show him working with the police to find the real killer. Like,
Been such a real good sport about that wrongful arrest thing.
yes or no? Would you watch this episode again?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Of course.
Are you joking? Is this a joke right now? Are you telling me a joke of some description? Do you think I'm funny? Funny man?
No.
I'm going to go watch Who Shot Mr. Burns again.
Yeah.
Me too. So we're watching it again. What playlist do we put it in?
Who Shot Mr. Burns?
Parts 1 and 2.
Yep, great Burnsy episodes, great Wiggum, fucking all the characters are on top form.
Maggie knowing more than a baby should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Platinum Jasper.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We'll put that with like Paddling.
Platinum B characters, Willie, Mo,
Mhm.
Smith, they're all on top form in this.
Colossus.
Dr. Colossus.
Mentions of Marvin Monroe.
Ah, yeah.
Marvin Monroe Memorial Hospital.
So that's where Dr. Nick works. Okay,
Yeah.
starting to come together.
Murder mystery solves.
Yeah, Lisa detective moments as well.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Bart ones.
Oh, David Lynch
Yeah.
things.
Oh, yeah.
With the you got good coffee here in Twin Peaks.
This is my favorite playlist from The Simpsons. Do you like my David Lynch?
Yeah, it's not too bad actually. Had a couple of anal corners if you care.
Jordan's anal corner.
I have one if you didn't catch
Oh,
it.
okay.
I'm curious if you did. Let's
Oh,
see.
okay. The bullet that they take out of Burns still has like the shell on it.
Yeah, a lot of animations do this. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I guess
It
because they
looks
don't know.
bulletier.
Because it doesn't look like a bullet when it's just the...
Yeah, like the
suppose.
slug. Yeah.
Mm.
Looks like a slug.
How did Lisa get there first to the hospital?
She can
She
pedal
pedals, yeah,
with,
really.
Yeah, I know, but
She
had
put her
quite
pedals
a-
to the metal.
Assume that the road was like a long, winding bullshit, and she could take some shortcuts, like go over
Oh,
a trampoline and
Ferris
jump someone's
Bueller.
back fence, and then come back and be like, "Hi, Lisa Simpson."
Oh.
The last one I had was when Lisa is like, "Oh, and with your last ounce of strength, you pointed to S and W in your way, M and S for Maggie Simpson." She writes it in such a way that the compass would have to have been like mirror reversed because she puts west down the bottom and south on the side.
Yeah, it doesn't quite work.
It's actually she's got the letters the wrong way
It's
around.
a good idea, though.
It's not
Come
how
on.
a compass works.
It's
Yeah.
a good bit.
It's a decent enough bit, but it is sort of clunkily forced in there, but then it's also undercut with Burns'
Straight
whole...
away.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was swallowing my feelings, dumbass.
Yes, well, those were some interesting anal corners. However, you missed the big one.
Jordan's Anal Corner BT edition.
Yes, when Homer when Homer jumps off from the paddy wagon, he jumps from the side, but then in the next cut, he's in front of the paddy
Yeah.
wagon being pushed
Yeah,
along.
that was a bit of bad staging, but I think it's worth it because
Oh,
just
it's
watching him
definitely worth it.
do that little shuffle in his chains.
Maybe
I'm not
he-
saying it's not worth it. I'm just saying it happens.
Maybe
Is
Yeah,
that referencing a movie?
Yeah,
it's
that's
the fugitive.
Okay, that is part
Yeah.
of Fugitive as well. Okay.
When I took your father's name, I took everything that comes with it, including DNA. Although,
Yeah,
I mean,
sure,
fair's
Mum.
fair, then Lisa does go, yeah, Mom, you're crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, whatever, Mum. Yeah, okay.
Maybe Marge like genuinely believes that.
No, I
though.
think she does. She genuinely seems to.
Yeah. So ultimately, did this
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
Yeah.
What a stupid question.
it felt better than Simpsons episode.
It's a smart question, just not in this
Yeah.
episode. Yeah, talking about characters' integrity, everybody's on point.
Mhm.
But do you agree with people who think that the Maggie thing, like that she was the one who shot him, was a bit of a cop out? Like, what do you guys have to say about that?
It was a hilarious cop-out. It was what's known as bathos, the comical undercut to the serious setup.
Okay.
When I was younger, I remember being like, Maggie. Pff. But watching it with a critical eye, it's one of the few things that ties everything together really nicely. Even the explanation of, Homer's fingerprints getting on the gun
Which
and the
admittedly-
lollipop being there as
Simpson
well.
DNA.
All that sort of stuff. And also, it's one of the few people that could have shot him and then have no consequences
Yeah.
and have life carry on as normal. I mean, unless they were willing to essentially write another character out.
They weren't at the kill mod stage yet.
Exactly. I mean, she would have been a horrible gunman, but, what can you do? And I did like that Mr. Burns is like, well, arrest the baby. He's like, no jury in the world can convict a baby. Well,
Yeah,
maybe
maybe
Texas. So we can rule out that Springfield is in Texas.
I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. There is no other character really, apart from Xana's Little Helper, that it could have been for them to not have had a really awkward time of it afterwards.
Yeah.
Really neat that they throw both of those characters on set right at the start of the episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's not attempted murder anymore. It's an accident. If it had been even one character and it was attempted murder, it's like you can't go anywhere from that.
Yeah.
You've literally had a crime committed on your show now, and
No
that's
takesies,
way out of
backsies.
the tone.
And that's it. It's not with the Simpsons tone to have someone even trying to deliberately attempt to murder someone. It's funny to make jokes about, but
Yeah, like when Sideshow Bob does it, because it's like a crazy evil scheme, and it's like, oh, he's an obvious
That's his
villain. Yeah, but this is just like, well, it could be anyone. It could be any of the characters that you've known and loved for 7 seasons or whatever.
Yeah. I just agree with the point that I don't know who else it could have been. And I was talking last episode about my brother's theory when it first came out that it was Santa's Little Helper. And I think really that's the only one, one. But
Oh, the monobrow baby.
Gerald?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got an evil streak for
Yeah.
sure.
Plot twist. After everyone IDs Maggie, like it cuts out to Gerald doing like the shifty eyebrows,
Jun, jun, jun.
It was a setup all
Yeah.
along.
he wipes the makeup off the middle of his monobrow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dig it. So I get why some people do have a problem with this, but honestly, I don't know how else you would have gotten out of it.
Well, put it this way: some people eat Tide Pods.
Boom. In your face, human race.
Yeah, it's a stupid person to have shot him. You know,
Yeah.
it's silly. But this is not an actual crime drama, and I feel like the people who are saying it was a cop out. Well, what did you want? Like, what's your A? Who do you want it to be? And then B, where do you want them to go from this?
Yeah, because they would have had to write off a character like, and if it was a B character, they just say it was Mo or Groundskeeper Willie or someone at Barney that they can write out of the show. Then
And it's like, well, he's in prison now. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
But that's the thing. The characters that could have or would have shot him, you know, like how where's the crazed lunatic with a gun when you need it? Sorry, I was in the bathroom. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that would be less funny.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, so it actually was the jerk with the gun who has, you know, murderous / criminal intent, tendencies. Well, all right.
It's
Well,
just a tragic thing that happened.
yeah.
It's a joke.
Criminals,
He's a criminal.
Criminals commit crimes. So, funny. Yeah.
He tripped and fell and landed on a bullet.
Yeah. Wiggum is dead. He was leaning out the window and the whole truck fell on him.
Drop the food, Chief.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I like the continuity in that he had the broken arm in the next scene.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. No, that's really clever. BT, any other notes?
Certainly. I only this time, because I haven't seen this in like 40 years, got the line of, sure, I've had it up to here with these damn rickets.
Yeah.
'Cause as I was a kid, I'm like, why is are those some kind of pants he has to wear? Because there's no sunlight, but now I get it.
Get some sunlight, kids.
Quick sign shot when Waylon Smithers walks into the church and the sign says Archbishop carries less than $20.
I missed that. That is excellent.
And just the final bit is when the SWAT team break in to the house and they start breaking stuff at random.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One dude breaks a lamp.
They just pour out the silverware.
Yeah. And one dude just plows upstairs past Grandpa, Lisa, and Bart. And they just like, what?
What are you going to do?
Jordan, any other notes?
Yeah, what town did we just drop that on? Shelbyville.
Yay!
Nice little callback to how shit Shelbyville is.
Yep.
Also, that I really like that groundskeeper Willie's tractor is named Duchess.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Duchess.
When Homer, I actually kind of like it how it was like, he's in the car and he feels around and he gets a lollipop and he goes, what is this doing on the floor? He's not asking like, who put this here? It's like, why is it on the floor and not in my mouth or something? Because then he just pockets it. And it's like,
And either hasn't changed his shirt in a couple of days.
Or
Or
just
just
left
keeps
it there.
changing the lollipop to different
Oh,
shirt.
yeah.
We know he likes cheap a lollipop there.
That's true. So that's why he's wondering why it's on the floor. It's
Yeah.
usually here on my
Yeah,
chest.
exactly.
This is where I like to keep lollipops. Any other notes, Danny Shag?
Shanny.
Oh, look, all my notes are just quotes. And
Dag.
guys, go watch the movies. They do it better than we do it.
I also love that you keep referring to this as a movie,
Yeah.
which is actually, it works
true.
really well because it
Yeah.
feels very, you know.
The stakes are so high.
the
Yeah, everything feels very full. It doesn't feel like half an hour.
All right, guys, it's time for my final quick fire notes.
Pew, pew,
Everybody careful.
pew.
He's got a gun.
Pew, pew,
And it's been recently
pew.
fired.
Smithers at the start is drinking Vagrant's Joy Scotch, and I think that's really funny.
Yeah.
But also, how did we not talk about the cigarette burping?
Oh, yeah. I like that he says, oh, my mouth tastes like an ashtray and burps in the dream. And then later on, at the very end, he just burps up the ashtray.
Maybe
like,
I haven't become a hideous drunken wreck.
No.
Blah. Like, this is great because as a former smoker, I've had like mornings where I've woken up and it's like waking up feeling like blah.
Yep.
I can't imagine Smithers smoking.
Oh, he didn't necessarily smoke him.
That's true.
Chewing tobacco.
I imagine like someone spilled
Oh.
beer in the ashtray and he
They
just
just
like
kept going,
just
yeah.
drunk it.
Yeah, man. He was doing that thing where you have a little bit of ash to make the alcohol hit your system faster.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Again, Grandpa calling him Smingers.
That's
Case
Smingers did it.
closed. I loved Mo as well when after Homer's hosing out the outhouse and Mo goes, "Hey Homer, me and some of these hotheads are going to rip down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to come with?" That was really great Mo appearance. He was on top form in this episode. Achoo!
Achoo.
I was like,
Something's wrong with your gun, Elliot.
It's sneezing at us.
lines that have entered my lexicon. Dr. Nick, oh boy, that was a little strange.
Yeah.
It's so good. Quick fire. Achoo!
Oh, he got me. It's going dark.
Oh God, Peter's got shot. Oh no!
He's got a note deep within his abdomen.
I don't want to die, Larry.
Say the word. You're
Stay
not
with me.
gonna die.
I'm not gonna die.
Come on, say it, man. You're not gonna die.
Say the fucking words. Excellent. And scene. In that bit where they're bringing up Homer as well, and Homer has the flashback. He couldn't remember my name, and then they show that panning shot again. Feels like they were taking a victory lap, and they deserve to.
Yeah.
That
It was
beautiful.
well earned.
But in that same scene as well, Lisa says, I don't think anyone in this house could be capable of murder. Maggie is asleep on the floor. At that moment, she opens her eyes and stands up, and it's like a little subtle hint, maybe? I don't know. Well, yes, obviously it was. I just want to bring up who put this mud in the freezer again, because, again, Homer has such a golden retriever-like reaction to this.
Like seconds later, he's already forgotten what Marge said, and he's just like, "Ooh, chocolate ice cream."
He hears ice cream. He's got new problems.
I love it that Marge knew there was mud in the freezer, didn't clean it up, just let whoever it was fix it later.
Maybe they needed it there. You don't know. She doesn't know yet.
Quick fire. What was the name of the hotel? I think you pointed it out. That Tito Puente's at?
Oh, it's the Che
Che
Guevara.
Guevara.
Yeah.
The Chez Guevara.
Check it
Chez
out.
Gavara.
Quick fire. Nice eyelash. Is it yours? And I like how he says, got everybody's DNA, they take it from pennies. Why do you think they keep them in circulation?
Solid point.
Yeah. Nice little conspiratorial, because
Illuminati confirmed.
and anyone who's been to America knows that, fuck pennies. Just fuck them.
Yeah,
Do
they're
not
Well-
fuck pennies. You will get lead poisoning.
We have 5-cent coins, so we can't talk.
We have fistfuls of single Japanese yen in our.
Yeah, they're the
Oh,
worst.
Every drawer of our
Japan's
house.
so bad for that.
Yeah, especially when everyone knows. If you've
Single
watched-
yen? Don't they
Yeah.
deal in multiples of 40 million?
Yeah, well, hundreds at least. But I was going to say, if you watched X-Files, you know that they've got your DNA from the smallpox in vaccination that you got as a kid.
Yeah, they could have just asked.
Yeah.
That would have
Probably.
been fine.
I leave my DNA all over the place. I don't know what the problem
Just
is.
check behind that alley.
Oh.
I like that Lisa's perfectly reasonable explanation for Homer's innocence involves Homer eating 2 ice cream cones at once while
Yeah.
driving.
You chose
perfectly
fruit.
innocent.
You stick with your decision.
He seems so proud and arrogant in that moment.
Yep.
And he actually reaches for the ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know, what did he want out of that scenario?
Ice cream.
Chuck it out the window before it fully melts.
Little ice cream.
That was not his plan.
Chuck it
Yeah,
out
that's
the
true.
window.
Oh, he's dropped so many things on his... He needs to clean his car. There was a pineapple there, and...
You don't have a pineapple on the floor of your
They are
car?
important.
Not
comedic
anymore. It
tools,
used to be a
man.
pineapple.
How does it run?
Some say that pineapples are the rubber chickens of the Caribbean.
Moving on. Quick fire.
So they're great on pizza?
Rubber chickens?
Yes.
I love it.
joke is terrible.
Careful, we must keep at least 51% of the carcass intact.
Oh, yeah.
I
I love that Apu knows that.
Yeah, and it just knows how bloodthirsty the town is. And if he doesn't say this, they're going to mangle it.
Yeah.
And is wielding a scimitar as well.
Machete. It was a machete.
Was it?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And my final note is from a character that we don't see that much, but the pigeon. Pigeon ex machina.
Swimming with disease.
I'd kiss you if you weren't swimming with disease. I've said that to a few people.
Aw, your poor mum.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
Jesus, man. Come
Love
on.
you, Mum.
Come on.
It is time to rank this thing. I apparently kick it off. Cubic. There's just no question in my mind. This succeeds as a bit of entertainment on its own. It succeeds very well at sticking the landing that the first part set up. It does so well at reminding you of everything that happened and progressively writing off suspects during the episode, but sort of giving big story pieces to Homer and Smither. I just think it's astoundingly well done. BT.
Cubic zirconia.
Let's say, do you really need to go around
We
the room?
we could just say, does anyone disagree?
Yeah, like I said before, I kind of, after seeing the first one, I kind of just forgot how much was in this one, and so was so pleasantly surprised when it's just packed to the brim and just well-paced and great, and everything pays off, and it's fantastic, and it's a cubic zirconia.
Danny?
It's cubic zirconia, Kent. Yeah, look, I think what really stands out to me is how
dense, how quick fire it is, how every character's little sub arc is wrapped up not only quickly and neatly, but with really great punchlines to them all. They all get their own bits, and like even Skinner they do the fast cut to boring Skinner, but then they also do Skinner in drag and with like a silencer pistol, and then Superintendent Chalmers walks in. Oh my god, this is one of those episodes with so many more lines that I quote every day of my life that I can possibly just waste time here filling up about, and I think it's really special. I think it's really, really special. You don't understand. Yeah, you probably understand.
Yeah, we understand. That's what we're
Jordan?
doing.
Yeah, I mean, of course it's cubic kind of year. I mean, I was thinking about it. The first episode, I'm like, I don't really remember a lot about this, but I know it's really good, and it's a lot more story driven with just really good jokes. And this is just joke fucking city town,
Berg.
yeah, metropolis,
Central.
So friggin' good, and yeah, very happy. Way better than I remembered, and I remembered it very, very fondly. So yes.
All right, Claire.
Anyway, it's definitely a cubic. Elliot, you brought up a really good point in that, it is a standalone episode. I think a problem with a lot of two-parters, especially in sitcoms, is that you can't come in cold and watch the second episode without seeing the first. And I think you actually could here. They have enough explanation, they have enough throwback without having to rehash and rewatch scene after scene after scene after scene that you've already done.
Yeah.
And it's got so many quick-fire jokes that you wouldn't get bored. So, yeah, 100% it's cubic.
And as well, just to wrap up the conversation on The Simpsons and doing two-part episodes, I know the Maude episode was never their intention as a two-parter, but for the Great Phatsby as well, we talked about in that episode how there was so much wasted space in there. There was just so much time given to bullshit stories that went nowhere, and like the fact that they didn't have a continuous B story running between the two, how they each had their own separate, like, why did they waste our time with this? And Shaggy said it before, they didn't waste a moment in this episode. Everything was a story-driven joke that was amazing. So yeah, this episode I don't think could have been anything else besides unanimous cubic zirconia.
Woo!
And it'll be joining other episodes like Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 1. And we're saying you've got to see both of these things. This is essential to the Simpsons experience. Bart Sells His Soul, Homer the Smithers, 22 short films, The Curse of the Flying Hellfish, Brother from Another Series with Cecil, Sideshow Bob's brother, Flaming Nose, Homer at the Bat, Homer the Heretic, Bart the General, Brush with Greatness. All right, guys, that has been episode 70, our two-part extravaganza. It'll continue with part 3 in a few months' time, where we'll have a look at, I've always considered the two Herb Powell, Homer's brother.
Yep.
I've always considered those two episodes to be a part 1 and 2, especially because we never see Herb after that. Danny DeVito refuses to do the show again. And we'll do the Vegas Wives. There was two episodes where they come up, and also Holidays of Future Past and Days of Future Future from the HD era, which is like the Simpsons Future Jump Christmas episodes, which are just fucking awful.
Yes.
Yay.
All right, guys. I've been your host, Elliot J. O'Neill. That guy over there is BT Calloway.
You'll feel a slight chocolatey sensation.
That's Danny Rosewell.
My tool shed.
That's Claire R.
Interesting quote.
That could be the name of your thesis.
And that's Jordan Frost.
Oh, you're the bee's knees, baby.
Jordan, are you talking to Beach?
Yes.
At Simpsons Index on Twitter, facebook.com/The Simpsons Index. And that's all the mustard in the house. Woo! Thank you for checking out the Simpsons Index podcast. Don't forget to go to www.thesimpsonsindex.com for the spreadsheet and information about upcoming episodes.
And for today's extra content,
Yeah.
Coming out of
Oh,
my
there
cage.
you go.
I've been
There you
told
go.
to fine. Coming
Ice
out of my
cold.
cage.
All right.
What
about?
All right.
And I know.
I know.
Hey, you ought to leave the young thing alone.
Nedward Flancid.
He's also Nedward Flanders Jr. because his dad is Nedward Flanders Sr.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
His dad, the lousy, no good beatnik.
Yep, he's tried nothing and he's all out of ideas.
Yeah.
Nedward, the lousy beatnik. There's a shit comic from the 30s.
I wrote a poem today. It wasn't very good.
He's like hands in his pockets, kicking a can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for cum. Sorry, doing a bit.
Oh,
Is that how you answer the
go
phone
for
now?
cum,
Yeah,
not
go for
go
cum.
for cum.
Go for cum.
Is that how you answer
you
the
telling?
phone now? Go for cum.
Ladies and gentlemen, go for cum.
What have you wrought, man?
It's all he's doing.
Talk to me, man.
Gopher's
Got
doing
it from you.
He learned it from you.
Look at me now, Dad.
Sugar, do, 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 do. Oh,
Sugar,
honey,
sugar.
Sugar, sugar,
Oh,
sugar,
sugar, do, 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 do. Oh, sugar, sugar, do, 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 do.
Oh, sugar, sugar.
Can you reach the mic?
As a pun lover, I was kind of proud of them,
You're
but
supposed
also
to be putting notes together. Quit
I
your
am, but I
yapping.
just had to quickly contribute because this is good conversation.
Your
that I
2
like leaving.
seconds is just way overboard right now.
Hold on, I'm in the last
We're into
of it.
12 now.
Elliot, I need to go get my
Mrs.
hot fudge. Hurry up.
2 minutes.
Sounds like you got to go to the toilet. Ah.
Why?
And we're back.
I didn't say make my hot fudge. I said
I
get
gotta
it.
go make
Yeah, you've got to get it
fudgies.
out of your butt.
Just stop leaving the house.
The height of maturity.
Milk, lemonade. Around the corner, fudge is made. Ian McKellen's children's chants.
Actually,
Dip, dip, dog shit. Who trod in it?
I like it, actually. But now we need, like, Helen Mirren to go, ooh, I've lost my bra. I left it in my boyfriend's car.
What's the time? 9:15. Hang your buzzies on the line.
I don't know any of these.
What? You don't remember the?
I knew the boyfriend's car one.
Okay, good. Because that's like a classic. That's an Australian
Yeah.
classic.
It's the time. Half past. A monkey's ass.
Can we get some James L. Jones doing under the leg sausage peg?
I don't know that one either.
I don't know that one.
What
don't
country
know.
did you guys grow up in?
This one, I think.
Australia,
Way
mate.
more Australian than
Yeah,
I've ever
look,
seen.
look, mate, your tongs are called your under the leg sausage peg, and a bra's over the shoulder boulder holder.
Maggie and Santa's little helper didn't have a lawyer present.
It's true.
Santa's little helper is Maggie's lawyer.
All right, I'm going to sit at home and ogle the ladies in the Victoria's Secret catalog. Sears catalog. Ding! Will you unhook this, please? I don't deserve this kind of shabby treatment.
So the implication there is he knows he deserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows it's a lie.
He knows
Truth
he's
machine.
a terrible person. Hey, how do you say that word? Because I don't say ogle.
Ogle?
I actually-
Ogle?
I always
say
used to say ogle, but I think it is ogle. It's
Ogle.
like
I don't know. Let's look it up on Goggle.
Like it's the difference between the boogeyman and the bogeyman. I always used to say
Oh, yep.
boogeyman, but so many people say bogeyman.
Bogeyman to me is more British.
And
Yeah.
it sounds
It's
snotty.
snottier.
Yeah.
Bogeyman.
Boogie. But then Boogie
Troll
just sounds like he
bogies.
dances, so, you know.
Yeah, Boogeyman. He's not nice.
I'd say ogle. Stop it! You've been told.
So was that all your notes?
I talked about the psycho thing, talked about Ned's
Cause
emotions,
say-
talked about the explosion.
Fa 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 fa
Yes.
fa 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 fa.
Yes. Or the one, what's the one that where Homer and Marge impregnate Lisa?
What?
You know, in the tunnel, the tunnel of love.
Get
for
pregnant
today's extra
with
content.
Lisa. Get pregnant with Lisa.
Wait, what did I say?
Impregnate.
Lisa.
You know.
No.
No.
That is not what those words mean.
Oh, boo.
What was that? What was that circus called?
Please get out.
No.
No, that was the train episode.
The train?
Yeah, you know, isn't that the one where Homer builds like the train that
Builds the
he and
train.
Marge
Oh,
boned
okay,
on
yeah,
to conceive Lisa?
Thank you, Beej.
Clear that
train
one
bus.
right up.
I'm a Fletcher's photographic fanatic. I don't know, something someone
The
just said
fuck are you
reminded
talking
me of that. NAD TV jingle
Mm-hmm.
for Fletcher's photographics. I think it was up in like on Prime.
Prime. Wow.
Prime possum. Yay.
Soft and cuddly.
Prime
possum.
Oh, do you also remember?
You're all nuts.
If you see a hole, don't think you're a mole. Run in the opposite direction and report your detection. There's a lot of open mine shafts in the Hunter region. Don't.
Let me flip it and reverse it.
That's what she says.
Yep.
Oh, are we still doing infinite loop songs again? Put your name down, flick about your car,
Naps and naps and naps and naps and naps.
Oh, this is going to get frustrating.
You're all so white.
Oh, I got another one. Some people want it all. Some just
people
want it all.
Yes.
But I just want it all.
Sorry, that song annoys me to the beginning because the line is, but I don't want nothing at all. It's double negative. It's like, what do you want?
Yeah. It bugs me
Something.
because she couldn't think of one more thing other than diamond rings. Some people want diamond rings. Someone, everything. Like, you couldn't think of another thing? Like,
Just one more thing.
some people want milk and cheese.
Heaps.
Finish the rhyme.
A glass of peas.
That was me earlier.
It's really hot in Australia, and eating frozen peas is an
Yeah.
acceptable snack.
They're lying.
Some people want
It
a
has
diamond
to be
ring.
on a meat pie, though, with gravy.
Check under your seat
Hey,
for
not
bees.
always.
Another acceptable rhyme.
All right, Claire, finish us off.
Well, natural.
Sorry.
Why, Jordan? Just
Sorry.
fuck
All
off.
right, well, get in line.
I don't wait in line. I'm leaving.
That makes it sound much worse. Thanks for trying to support me, but you really fucked it.
Name me a sex tape.
Yeah. Well, I think in sitcoms, especially the seasonal cliffhanger, it doesn't always get pulled off this way. And I
Same
think
name, your sex tape.
especially considering it's what does
I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to say it because I was going to rudely interrupt.
you
Thanks,
know, if you can't handle a strong woman on your podcast
And a
without
bunch of
trying
porn.
to demean her, well, fuck y'all. But
Sorry.
what I'm trying to say is I've forgotten.